information, call 800-924-7415. 800-924-7415. 800-924-7415.
Your new kitchen appliances look stunning.
Thanks. We had a blast shopping for them at National Appliance Warehouse. There's over 100 brands in their huge showroom. The best part was knowing everything was at the best price.
You must have done a ton of research.
Oh, we didn't need to. They use a cutting-edge technology called Price Assure. It searches prices online and updates electronic Price Assure tags in real time to make sure theirs is the lowest.
Lower than the big box stores.
Especially them, with much better service, too. And they do it all. Delivery, installation, everything.
National Appliance Warehouse in Wilmington.
Yes, they may not be the closest, but they'll make your wallet the happiest.
The Friends and Family Savings Event is underway at National Appliance Warehouse. Save on LG. Get a deluxe stainless steel kitchen suite with French door refrigerator from LG regularly $43.43 for only $21.99.88 after rebate. That's a budget-saving $2,143.12. An incredible package. Preview the savings at nationalappliancewarehouse.com or visit their easily accessible showroom on 202 in tax-free Wilmington.
Station WPHT AM, an equal opportunity employer, is dedicated to providing broad outreach regarding job vacancies at this station. We seek the help of local community organizations in referring qualified applicants to our station. Community organizations that wish to receive our vacancy information should contact Lisa Morton at WPHT AM by calling 215-234-2400. In addition, all listeners are encouraged to visit odysseyinc.com/careers for an online listing of job openings at all Odyssey radio stations.
Hey, you know life throws you curveballs. Stress, anxiety, and unhappiness. I'm Dave Raymond, keynote speaker, and yes, the original Philly fanatic. And I want to talk to you. I've been sharing my message around the world. It's a message about how fun and happiness can make the world a better place and can save your life. Contact me now at DaveRaymondSpeaks.com. I'd love to speak for your team at your next company outing, conference, or meeting. See you soon at DaveRaymondSpeaks.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Do you want a beautiful home that's easy to maintain? I've been telling you about a great company that does just that. John Gilgee is here to tell you in his own words. Take it away, my friend.
Hello, it's John from Rhino Shield, reminding you that spring is here and Rhino Shield is ready to help you paint your home for the last time. Our permanent exterior house paint is not ordinary paint. It's a ceramic house coating that goes on like paint and looks like paint, but is guaranteed for 25 years. If your home's exterior isn't looking as good as you'd like, Rhino Shield is the solution you've been looking for. It's affordable because you only have to paint one last time, and it protects your home with a durable and waterproof coating that goes on any exterior surface. Find out why so many of your neighbors are choosing the permanent paint solution from Rhino Shield by calling to schedule your free estimate today at 844-RHINO-99. That's 844-744-6699.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3, Philadelphia. Always live on the free Odyssey app. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Live and local from Philadelphia. Free speech lives here. It's Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
And away we go, live on this Friday, June 9th. It is indeed Kayal and Company here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Always live on the free Odyssey app and streaming live for your video viewing pleasure on YouTube as we head until 10 o'clock this morning. 855-839-1210, the phone number. Twitter and Instagram, the radio station at 1210 WPHT. I am at Nick Kayal, Kayal. Don Stenslin with the news. Greg Stocker, the chairman of the board. Daniel Valdez, Anthony Dorenzo, our associate producers. Yeah, it's the dog days of June. Not much to talk about in the world of news and politics. I don't know how we're going to get till 10 o'clock today. Yeah, we'll just limp to the finish line and make a bunch of stupid lists. Oh, wait, no, they do that down the hall. We got real stuff to get into. Oh, my goodness gracious. Dawn, good morning. Did you sleep at all last night?
Good morning. I did.
I got about 5 hours, but that's all I need.
Fired up.
Fired up, ready to go, Gregory?
Does everybody have their radio turned up real loud this morning? Feel like there's going to be a lot of things to discuss today, huh?
Rumor has it.
Yeah.
Rumor has it. All right, Donald Trump officially indicted.
United States of America v. Donald J. Trump.
Yep.
Wow. Man.
Oh, boy. That will obviously be front and center. Big take this morning. Could very well gobble up a good portion of the first half of the show before we get to the cut sheet. Also, I've got to praise all those radical extreme moms out there. You crazy moms, keep on fighting. We'll get to that. That was actually going to be the big take this morning. I had to call an audible. The DOJ and the Biden Justice Department, they were like, you know what, Nick Kayal, we don't care that your big take was written 3 hours ago. We're going to indict Trump, and you're going to have to do another one. Deal with it. We'll get to that as Dawn had a great interview yesterday, and that'll come up at some point before the cut sheet as well. But before we get to all of that, and also a lot of other good stories out there as well, we get to the news. And here is the great Dawn Stensland.
Why, thank you. Yeah, busy Friday, news-wise, for sure, not on the roads this morning. But we are at 60 degrees, and we'll talk about the forecast in a moment. Air quality alerts still in effect in Philadelphia across our region as those smoky conditions from hundreds of Canadian wildfires begin to improve in our region. So we are improving. That's the good news. So a code red air quality alert remains in effect for the state of Delaware today for your Friday, but a code red, that means that air pollution concentrations are unhealthy for the general population, as well as outdoor activity should be avoided. This according to all of the officials, of course. In Philadelphia and New Jersey, so in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, a code orange air quality alert is in effect, and that means that the air pollution, they say that the concentrations within the region may become unhealthy for sensitive groups like kids, anybody suffering with asthma, heart disease. What are you laughing at?
We're still doing this. Like,
I have to report what they say the code is.
It's fine outside. Take a walk.
Like,
you're fine.
How do you go?
I was fine yesterday and the day before, but I'm reporting what they're...
Yesterday was significant improvement.
Yes.
Like, I sat outside yesterday around 4 o'clock, and I didn't smell a thing.
Yeah.
Like,
Agreed.
I'm just blown away that the Philly schools are going to go virtual learning today. Like, today, not Wednesday, but today.
Well, and that was my next story.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No.
You see what you do there, Nick.
We're thinking alike. We're finishing each other's sentences. And you sound like so many parents, Nick Kayal, who are saying, "What? It was worse, the last 2 days. Now we get better. Why are we remote on a Friday?"
Yeah. It's June 9th. Why don't we just call it a year and we'll see you in September?
True.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Now, they did say that despite all the schools shifting to remote learning, so students preparing to log in for that remote learning, unfortunately, they said all employees, including school-based and central office staffers, they would report to their normal work location. And field trips, field days, which is a bummer. If there's a field trip and you've been looking forward to it.
Used to love that.
That stinks. But and by the way, anybody absent yesterday or today because of, air quality related absences, they're all excused.
Oh, man, I would have had a field day with that. Yeah, the air quality can't come today. Sorry.
It's like, Mom, do I have to go? Yes.
Mom, we're going back to virtual. I'll pull up my Zoom. I'll be shooting spitballs into my laptop.
We have a teacher in Lower Merion, serious story here, arrested, accused of enticing minors to engage in illicit sexual contact on social media. So this 31-year-old teacher, identified as Jeremy Schobel of Philadelphia, is accused by authorities, by police, of creating these fake social media profiles to get these sexually explicit images of teen girls between the ages of 16 and 18. He allegedly posed as a 17-year-old girl during this time. So they're accusing him of being some kind of a groomer of minors, etc. So a disturbing story about this teacher in the Lower Merion district in the burbs. And yes, one of obviously the huge stories that broke last night, Donald Trump indicted on these charges of mishandling classified documents. It's your big take this morning, correct, Nick? So I won't go through I mean, it's historic.
Mm-hmm.
Trump last night reacting on Fox Business and reacting strongly, and many of you on social media, many of us all reacting. But this is something that we've never seen in United States history, facing criminal charges by the federal government that he once was the commander-chief of and the president of. So wow, that one kind of took our breath away last night, even though it was looming.
I
So
was just going to say, everybody knew it was coming.
I know, but
It's still once it comes to fruition
I
and
get
it's
it.
reality, it's like, whoa.
It was like wall to wall yesterday. Like, we knew it earlier this week that it was
Yeah.
going to come down.
well, I think that you hope that they do the right thing because it has always been their policy to not do that with an active candidate. And I'll take you back to the wonderful James Comey. Remember, we were on afternoons back then, Greg, and he said, "Well, we're before an election, no charges against Hillary."
Two-tier system, baby. Two-tier system. Yep.
The good news of the day is Rich Scioli remains the good luck charm.
Yeah,
A
Phil.
Philly sweep. Phil's topped the Tigers 3-2.
Take that,
Complete the
Canada.
sweep.
I mean, they beat the Tigers.
It's all right. They tried to smoke out our streak, and we beat Detroit and Canada yesterday.
Yeah.
We're still the winners.
They play the Dodgers this weekend, so
Yeah.
we'll see how good that streak really is.
Streak comes to an end.
Yeah, I'm just going to say that.
So the weekend series, as Greg mentioned, Dodgers at home, Citizens Bank Park. So hopefully we sweep that one too. Okay, NBC 10 first alert forecast. I think you're going to like it. I mean, it's obviously it's pretty clear out there, partly to mostly cloudy skies, but at least they're clear, so that's a good thing for us. NBC 10 first alert forecast. We're cooler today, 74 degrees with sunny skies, 60 right now with some of those air quality alerts that I mentioned still in effect with the smoke blowing out of here. And then if you're going to the Jersey Shore tomorrow, it's going to be lovely, 82 degrees, or the Delaware Shore points as well. Saturday and Sunday, 82, sunny tomorrow. Sunday, a few more clouds than Saturday, but 89 degrees, so a steamier day for your Sunday. We finally, on Monday, will get some much-needed rain. That's expected on Monday with 81 degrees. That's your NBC 10 First Alert forecast. Kayal and Company News Live.
All right, Don, thank you very much. 6:11, let's get to a Friday Big Take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
The big take this morning, Donald Trump indicted. The indictment of Donald Trump is an ugly look and a bad day for politics in the United States of America. If you don't believe there's a two-tier justice system, then you were asleep last night, literally and figuratively. This is the stuff you expect from a third world banana republic. The boxes hoax goes to show you the level to which the Biden Department of Justice will go to eliminate their political opposition. Legal analyst Jonathan Turley surprised by the latest indictment of the former president. South Carolina's Nancy Mace says this just secured the 2024 nomination for Trump. Trump says this is, quote, election interference at the highest level and will plead not guilty to his alleged retention of classified documents. Trump is listed in the indictment, which is not unsealed yet, as a criminal defendant charged with at least 7 counts of obstruction of justice, conspiracy, and illegal retention of classified governmental material. He is expected to appear Tuesday in a Miami federal court. Let's take a listen to the 45th president of the United States as he posted this video last night on Truth Social.
And they go after him on a boxes hoax, just like the Russia hoax and all of the others. It's just been going on for 7 years. They can't stop, because it's election interference at the highest level. There's never been anything like what's happened. I'm an innocent man. I'm an innocent person. They had the Mueller hoax, the Mueller report, and that came out. No collusion after 2.5 years. That was set up by Hillary Clinton and Democrats. But this is what they do. This is what they do so well. If they would devote their energies to honesty and integrity, would be a lot better for our country. They could do a lot better. They could do a lot of great things.
Donald Trump last night on Truth Social. I have always been a law and order guy, and I am consistent with that. If Trump did commit some sort of crime, fine. But deal with Biden and the others as well, equally and evenly. If we are going to have laws and we are going to apply and enforce those laws, give me consistency in the application of those laws. I think that is what many supporters of Trump would say. Why do we have a two-tiered justice system? Well, it's really simple. If you have an R in front of your name, you're handled in one fashion. If you have a D in front of your name, you get dealt with in a different fashion. In 2016, it was the media. It was Hillary. It was Russia. It was CNN. In 2020, it was social media, big tech, censorship and suppression of stories that favored the Biden administration. And now in 2023, and again, more importantly, coming up in 2024, it'll be the courts. First, it was Bragg. Now it's Garland in Florida. Next, it'll be D.C. for January 6th. Then it will be Atlanta. Has one man ever been hacked at by more of America's institutions than Donald Trump? Bill Clinton took home classified documents. George Bush took home classified documents. Barack Obama took home classified documents. Mike Pence took home classified documents. Hillary Clinton had classified documents on her email server. Biden's got documents scattered throughout sports cars, garages, beach houses, and random streets in Ireland. Trump is the only one that has been indicted. Oh, by the way, the same day that Biden was caught taking more millions, and every time something drops on Biden, what do? Boom, they hit Trump. It's interesting how that works, right? So you would think Hunter is next, Joe is next, and then they'll try to spin it and say, hey, look, see, we're very fair. But let's try to digest and make sense of all of this from a legal standpoint. And a lot of times, legal terminology can put you to sleep. But Jonathan Turley of Fox News does a great job of breaking this down last night in real time as it happened live on Jesse Waters. Take a listen.
This has never happened before in the history of this country, has it?
No, it hasn't. And this is one first that I hope most people regret, even if you feel that it's warranted. It's surprising because Merrick Garland had a decision to make here, not just whether there was evidence to indict, but whether that served the interest of justice. So we have to see what's in this indictment. There are a couple of things that we'll be looking for. Obviously, the obstruction charge is the one that most of us have been talking about for months. That, to me, has always been the greatest threat to Donald Trump. But there's also the question of whether they'll charge possession of classified documents. That's going to put the Department of Justice in a tough position, because if they charge possession, it's going to make it difficult not to charge Vice President Biden with the same crime. But if they don't charge him on that, some people may view it as an effort to avoid the necessity of a charge against the president. So this indictment, the details of this indictment are enormously important, but that obstruction charge comes with a big ticket sentencing provision. That's up to 20 years. But as with many of these cases, Jesse, it comes down to timing. They don't have a lot of runway before the presidential election. And the court's going to be in a tough position how to deal with this criminal case when you have the leading candidate for president who wants to be campaigning. Then there's the final issue here, which is going to get really wicked. And that is, Trump could run on pardoning himself. You know, for people that feel that this is bias, that this is part of a pattern, he could turn this on his opponents and actually run on his right to pardon himself. So if he's elected, even if he's convicted, he could pardon himself, or he can do so before a trial occurs.
Jonathan Turley on Fox News last night. And I believe wholeheartedly that if Donald Trump was not running in 2024, and last fall he said, you know what, I'm getting older, I'm tired, I don't have the stamina and the energy to go through it again, I don't believe for a second there would be a single individual indictment handed down to Donald Trump. He is being attacked by the opposition through the criminal justice system. Like we said, the media in 2016, social media and big tech in 2020, and now the court system at the federal level all the way down to Manhattan district courts. But the reality is this will galvanize the Trump base more and make things even more compelling as we work our way through 2023, summer debates coming up, and then obviously election year in 2024. Some will argue this doesn't matter. He could very well be dead on arrival once he beats Ron DeSantis, and he's got no chance to beat Joe Biden. But it's historical what happened last night. As Jonathan Turley just said, we don't see this happen to presidential candidates. But then again, it's Trump. So I guess it's all fair game, right? That's the way I view it. And that's the big take.
The Big Take on Kayal and Company.
All right, if you guys have thoughts, and I'm sure you do, 855-839-1210, the phone number, 855-839-1210 on social media at 1210WPHT. And, of course, you can fire up the Kayal and Company comment community on YouTube. Just go to youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit subscribe, hit like, and then start ranting and raving. We'll come back. We'll get Dawn's thoughts. We'll get Greg's thoughts, and then also some other little facts and tidbits from what happened last night with Donald Trump indicted by the Biden Department of Justice. We're just underway, and we're back after this here on Kayal and Company on Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
Enjoy exclusive after-hours access to America's most historic prison all summer long. Night tours. Summer Twilight returns to Eastern State Penitentiary select evenings from May 25th through September 4th. Explore the historic cell blocks with a self-guided audio tour narrated by actor Steve Buscemi. Grab a drink in the Fairchance Beer Garden featuring Triple Bottom Brewing Company and take part in special hands-on activities and events. Learn more and get your tickets now at easternstate.org.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things, for our planet. When buying toys for your pet, look for natural materials like cotton, rope, wood, or bamboo. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
Tune in to Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Phil Cannella and Joanne Small. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210.
Lose weight and feel great with NJ Diet. NJ Diet uses DNA and blood work to help you lose weight and keep it off. Tune into the radio show Sunday at 2 or visit njdiet.com. Chronic pain, cancer, fatigue. Find out about the benefits of medical hydration therapy on Health Watch with Dr. Molly Fantasia every Sunday morning at 8 on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Let's face it, your company is still feeling the financial effects of the pandemic. And if you own a restaurant, dental practice, or other small business that persevered through lockdown, a quick phone call to Omega Accounting Solutions can be a game changer. Omega Accounting Solutions is an established, respected accounting firm, helping businesses like yours receive the ERC tax credit. Unlike CPAs and others who may not grasp all the complexities of the ERC, Omega's experts are fully trained to understand ERC qualifications and simplify the application process. Learn in less than 10 minutes if you are a good candidate. Call Omega even if you've applied for other pandemic assistance in the past. If your company employed 500 to 500 employees during the COVID crisis and continue to pay payroll taxes, you may be eligible to receive a refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Running a small business is challenging enough. Trust Omega Accounting Solutions to help claim the tax credits you deserve. Call now 1-800-300-9ERC or online at OmegaTaxCredits.com. The phone number again, 1-800-39-ERC. That's 1-800-300-9372.
Hey, it's Rich Zioli. It's hot weather season, but imagine your house always being cool and comfortable no matter how hot it is outside. The sad truth is 7 out of 10 homes are poorly insulated. Is yours? Here's some of the telltale signs. Is your house too hot? Does your AC have to run almost nonstop to keep it cool? Do you have different temperatures on different floors or in different rooms? Are your power bills too high? I had these exact issues, and I decided I wasn't going to just live with it, nor did I want to move to a new house. My solution? USA Premium Foam Insulation. My house became instantly comfortable and my electric bill went down substantially. It's been a wonderful, wonderful improvement to my home. If you want a cool, comfortable home with lower power bills, give USA Insulation a call at 1-800-USA-FOAM. If you call now, when they foam your walls, they'll insulate your attic for free. 1-800-USA-FOAM. Again, free attic insulation when they foam your walls. USAinsulation.net.
USA Insulation. Tastykake is gearing up to celebrate their first ever National Crimpet Day on July 7th. And what better way to enjoy this mouth-watering holiday than with the new confetti crimpets. They're inspired by birthday cake and filled with colorful confetti sprinkles. This delicious new crimpet flavor is only available for a limited time, so don't miss them. Tastykake's iconic crimpet has been enjoyed by fans for almost 100 years, so be sure to stock up and enjoy all the crimpet varieties on National Crimpet Day, July July 7th.
You can shed that fat and be slimmer for this summer. No more wearing cover-ups or t-shirts in the pool. NJ Diet will help you the natural way. There are no shots, no hormones, and no surgery. You will lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days with NJ Diet. Locations throughout the East Coast or available from home with live online video consultations. 855-5NJ-DIET or schedule your consult today at njdiet.com, njdiet.com.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. I often tell you about my buddy Roy with two big stores of batteries plus bulbs, Mount Laurel and Northfield. Here's a review from Matt. This is word by word. Here's what he said. It's a great place to grab any batteries or phone repairs. I work with a fleet of vehicles. This place has had batteries from cars to pickups to heavy-duty tractor batteries. The owner's a nice guy. He's not afraid to come out and give great advice. And if they don't have your battery, typically the next day they can get it. Customer service is the key when you visit them. They power it, they light it, they fix it. Mount Laurel and Northfield, batteries plus bulbs.
Hey, Doylestown. Tell your smart speaker to play 1210 WPHT.
.625, it's Kayal and Company as we continue here on a Friday morning. Hopefully all of you off to a good start as we head to the weekend. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Talk Radio 1210, WPHT. Get us for free on the Odyssey app. Watch us for free live on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Donald Trump indicted. The news coming down last night. Many were expecting it to happen at some point eventually. We were thinking at some point this week or maybe perhaps next week, but it comes down last night in the evening hours on Thursday. You heard from Trump. You heard from Jonathan Turley kind of breaking down a couple of the nuances and some of the critical verbiage when it comes to possession versus obstruction and what possession means in regards to, well, then they would probably in all likelihood have to charge Joe, but obstruction could carry 20 years. So we'll kind of break all of that down as we move along this morning, but certainly want to get Dawn and Greg's reaction. Dawn, your thoughts last night when you saw this probably come across your phone or however you consumed it.
Yeah, I just don't believe in coincidences. And the fact that the House Oversight Committee has been working to, they issued the subpoena and we've reported on this. And at first the FBI pushed back. Then they said, well, the heads of that House Ethics Committee could come forth and just look at the document. They said that's not good enough. Then all the committee members were able to view it. And as that was happening and these allegations that accusing the former vice president, now president, and his son of getting $5 million each. And that happens on the same day that now that story is developing and moving along. Christopher Wray agreeing that he would, let all of them see. And you're telling me that that's just a silly coincidence.
It's just a quinky dink. No. Don't read too
much
into it.
There are no coincidences.
No, of course not. I'm thinking about this last night as well. And, you've got so many people that have jumped into the mix on the Republican side. And Ron DeSantis, obviously, is the distant number two. And he went to social media last night on Twitter and tweeted the following. He said, "The weaponization of federal law enforcement represents a mortal threat to a free society. We have for years witnessed an uneven application of the law depending upon political affiliation. Why so zealous in pursuing Trump, yet so passive about Hillary or Hunter? The DeSantis administration will bring accountability to the DOJ, exercise political bias, and end weaponization once and for all." We can sit here and talk about the primary and who's going to be the Republican nominee, but the bottom line is this: when it comes to Trump, he's blowing DeSantis out right now. And I've been of the belief that I don't know that Trump can win against Biden in a rematch. So if that is correct, and my assessment is correct, which I don't know if it is, time will tell eventually, in all likelihood, the Biden administration has got to realize that, right? Like the Democrats have got to realize that, like, there's no way Trump's going to beat us. We've got this in the bag. It's all, there's no way we're going to lose. But yet they still continually go after him. And if my theory is correct, and maybe it's wrong, that DeSantis provides the better threat to beat Biden because he can maybe win over an independent or a moderate or a swing state, why would the Biden administration go this far? It's almost like the Biden administration wants to make it more difficult on themselves. Or maybe I'm reading too much into it, and they just have a vendetta out to get this guy out of the system. They want to totally eradicate Donald J. Trump from politics. Make sure he never steps foot inside the White House again.
Yeah, they've wanted to take him out when he came in and said he was a total outsider. And you think about the swamp, and you think about these career politicians. They've never had anybody like Trump in their existence. There never has been a president who had never been a politician and then won the presidency.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty incredible, and a billionaire guy. And yes, he comes in and he's like a bull in a china closet.
Yep.
And then he says, I'm going to bring the jobs back. And he goes through and says, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. I'm going to keep my oath to Israel. And whatever he says, he's doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And he's marching through, and they're watching this. And I think they're incredibly threatened by this guy.
Yep.
And so as far as that goes, and you even saw with the Liz Cheney types, think about her dad, and the Cheney name. I mean, there's somebody big political family.
Mm-hmm.
The swamp hates Trump.
Yeah.
They hate him.
Yep.
On both sides.
Yes, they do.
And so that is, I think, the feeling of most Republicans, even Republicans who might have just wished that he would just not run for president again.
Sure.
And so it sort of you just talked about DeSantis. So it unites the Republican Party, number one. Number two, I will say, as far as what Jonathan Turley said, the scholar, if I'm Ron DeSantis or I'm in his camp advising him, I'm going to say to DeSantis, come out and say you'll pardon him.
Mm-hmm.
Get that off the table so that he can't run on that.
I said that 2 weeks ago in a big take. You want to win some Trump supporters over who are mad at you because you're being, quote, disloyal to Trump? Say that you would pardon him.
That won't
You're probably right, but I think at least you get it out there and you say it. Well, I'm on the record. I said it. How you react to it and what your feelings are, I can't control, right? That's what I would have done. But, I'm sitting here thinking about all these other people that have never been indicted for squat. Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton, Epstein's clients, Iraq war criminals, COVID people, D.C. inside traders. You have so many people a part of the swamp in the system and the establishment, and they just get away with everything. They never have their feet held to the fire.
But think about what we're talking about and what everybody's talking about this morning. Everybody's talking about Trump. And so nobody's talking about this. I mean, all the information that came out, that confidential source in that document reportedly said the Bidens and the way that they distributed all those millions, that they went through so many different bank accounts, and this was such an ornate process that it would take 10 years to unravel all of it.
Mm-hmm.
And there were some juicy details in that document alleging that a current sitting president of the United States did a pay-to-play type, corruption scheme with his family, son, et cetera, involving, this one was $10 million.
Right.
And going back with Burisma and the whole thing. Nobody's talking about that.
No.
And so and nobody's talking about DeSantis or any of the other. What are we talking about? Trump.
Trump.
And that's everybody.
Yes. And the media is complicit in it as well, because to your point, this is going to gobble up all of the attention on all the shows all day today, into the weekend, the Saturday morning shows, the Sunday morning shows. We'll have plenty of audio on the cut sheet Monday from all the Sunday morning shows talking about Trump's indictment, all talking heads and legal analysts and legal scholars and pundits and experts. And, my brain was racing last night. I couldn't go to sleep. I'm sitting there thinking about all these possibilities. And I kept thinking about what Jonathan Turley said, because I listened and watched that clip last night. You look at the obstruction charge and the 20 years that could come with it versus the possession charge, which, as Turley notes there, if they use the possession charge, it makes it easier to then charge Joe. I mean, I think a lot of people are of the belief that DeSantis versus Gavin Newsom is 2028. Is it outlandish to think that maybe Trump and Biden both get dealt with, and we get DeSantis Newsom sooner than expected?
I just don't understand how Trump will be dealt with. I mean, even if he's found guilty, which is not none of this is going to happen before the election.
And it doesn't make it. And the thing, to your point about charging him and dragging him through the mud and smearing him, it doesn't really change anybody's opinion, because you either like Trump,
this does
or
absolutely,
you hate him.
This does absolutely
there's
nothing.
Nobody on the fence about Trump that says, "Boy, you know what? On second thought,
But remember Trump, when he surged in the polls, wasn't it right after that Mar-a-Lago raid?
Correct.
And right, so I think it did.
He surged in the polls with the base, though.
Well, but I think it unified a lot of Republicans and a lot of voters who really felt like this whole weaponization of the government and the DOJ, and felt this is really wrong. And so I think that this persecution of Trump, especially, has indeed galvanized a lot of people, even Republicans or libertarians who might, like I say, might not have voted for Trump, still might not vote for him, but on the other hand, still think, you know what, this is nasty, this is too far.
It should really galvanize everybody not on the left, because you should sit there and say, well, if they can do it to him, they can do it to me, right? Whether it's DeSantis, whether it's a moderate Republican, whether it's a conservative, a liberal, whoever it is, if you're running on that side of the aisle, the precedent is now set that you could be the next one that they put in their crosshairs.
This only goes so far, though, and I'm talking just election-wise. This only goes so far. There's only so many people, and by the way, you already have those people. There's only so many people that are galvanized by a situation like this. Yes, he's going to run on, if they can do it to you, or if they can do it to me, they can do it to you, or I'm doing this to save you, or whatever his talking point is going to be. There's only so many people that are going to see that and be like, yes, that's my. He's not winning over any independents by doing that.
Well, to your point as well, there's only so many people that actually care, right? Like we sit here and look back and say, wow, 81 million for Joe, 74 million for Trump, and you do the math and you're like, oh, that's only half of the country.
All you needed to do was turn on cable news last night. You watch Fox News and it's like this is hair's on fire. You turn over MSNBC and it's like you can see the s-eating grins on all of their faces. So it does absolutely nothing, but it inflames the base, and it makes the anti-Trump people wet their pants.
But think about it. We're not even the local news. I just looked up because I'm looking at Greg's studio, and you have a local station on, and they have this big thing, Trump. So what are we not talking about? We're not talking about anything else. We're not talking about the economy. We're not talking about the disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan. We're not talking about the fentanyl crisis, the opioid deaths. I mean, we could go on and on, right? We're not talking about any of the issues that affect all of us. Everybody, this is the Trump phenomenon.
Yeah.
Everybody's talking about Trump, and everybody likes to talk about Trump.
Yep.
And so what are we not talking about? We're not talking about the issues. And guess what? We're not talking about Joe Biden. We're not showing him either hiding in the basement and talking about his basement campaign, how he came into power, how he's allegedly corrupt. We're not showing him tripping up on some other podium or saying something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not talking about Biden, and so it's a new way to keep Biden in the basement.
Yes.
Talk about Trump.
It is. 855-839-1210. If you would like to join the show and give your opinion, you can also do it on social media or during the YouTube portion of the show. If you are watching and streaming us live, you can comment on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. So we talked about the angle of, galvanizing everybody, a rallying moment, Republicans coming together, and then you see the arguing and the bickering between the splintered fractions of the GOP on social media. And this is one thing I've been paying attention to a lot lately, and it's usually you have one or two big-time Trump advocates on social media, whether they are on the payroll, working or pandering or whatever it might be. And some of these names might not ring a bell to some of the audience, but if you're like deep in the weeds on social media and you see some of these people, the names will ring familiar. You've got a guy like Alec Bruzowitz on Twitter who's all pro-Trump, and then you have guys like John Cardillo and Bill Mitchell that are DeSantis sycophants. And Charlie Kirk, who I think a lot of people know, big-time social media influencer type guy on social media, big-time conservative and Republican, tweeted this last night. He says, every Republican running for president should suspend their campaign and go to Miami as a show of support. If you don't, you are part of the problem. Okay. Either we have an opposition party or we don't. Go to Miami Tuesday and show solidarity, or we will mark you as part of the opposition. To which DeSantis sycophant Cardillo responds, nope, this is ridiculous. I don't see Trump showing up outside of courthouses when January 6th defendants were sentenced. People are entitled to their own ambitions and political career paths. Bill Mitchell and other DeSantis apologists says, you've got to be kidding. Do you not ever consider that Trump might be guilty? So we talk about everybody kind of rallying together and coming together, and yet you have these, guys on social media with big followings, Trump, 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 DeSantis, DeSantis, DeSantis. And meanwhile, the Democrats are sitting there just laughing, taking it to the bank. And
of course.
It's like, in some regards, the Republicans are their own worst enemy.
Also, that Charlie Kirk email is just so dumb. Like, it is not. These guys and gals are in the race because they see Trump as vulnerable. Why else would you run against a guy who is, as you say, Nick, boat racing everybody else in the polls? Yeah. There's only one reason. It's because they see Trump as vulnerable. His own vice president is running against him. It's like this is.
But they're running. But we know they all have no shot.
But they're running against him because they see him as vulnerable. So the thought that they're going to drop out because of this is ridiculous.
But they're also running, and we said this, I think we all agreed with this yesterday. They're all also running because they all have egos, more opportunity, more money, more publicity, more PR, sell a book. Like they have all, it's not just like, hey, I'm Mike Pence, I think I can beat Trump. He knows he's got no shot. I mean, DeSantis deep down inside has to think like, you know what? I don't know, maybe I'm 4 years too soon.
Well, to your point, though, about as far as Charlie Kirk, I mean, look at what DeSantis just said, though. DeSantis essentially did just, criticize in the clip that you played. DeSantis just said that this is the weaponization of DOJ and that it's wrong. He's already in Florida, so he doesn't have right.
Right.
So I think to Charlie Kirk's point, though, the Republicans tend not to get it together as well. They're not as coordinated as the Democrats always seem to be.
Mm-hmm.
And do you ever notice the Democrats come here to Philadelphia? Remember they came and they were delayed by the big pothole and 70 Pelosi. They all come here and they conspire. I don't know if they sit around and light candles or I don't know what it is, but they do. They are on the same page.
Yep.
And they do ultimately get it together better than the Republicans.
Yeah, I would agree. If you guys would like to weigh in, 855-839-1210 is the phone number. And then the final element to this, when we think about what's the next shoe to drop, the domino effect. I mentioned in the big take, first it was Alvin Bragg in Manhattan. Now it's federal court in Miami. Then, of course, you're going to have the proceedings in D.C. from January 6th. And then, of course, the one a lot of people say is the most damning against Trump is the one in Georgia. Do we get to a point where eventually the other candidates on the Republican side start to legitimately believe that Trump will not be in this race for 2024? And then is it DeSantis against Joe? Is Joe all of a sudden out of the race? I'm just randomly spitballing all these thoughts that were going through my head last night as I tried to go to sleep at like 11:15. And I'm like, can we just? I should just go into the studio right now. I'll crash in the studio and I'll wake up at 5:30.
You're like a kid on Christmas night, Christmas Eve.
It's just unbelievable. And then I had this deep thought, and I don't want people to have a heart attack and die when I say this, but. I mean, if we still end up with Joe versus Trump and all this is just window dressing and, it never results in indictment or, we have indictments. It doesn't result in arrests and people being disqualified.
Yes.
There's a chance.
That's the outcome.
Trump runs against Joe. Joe wins again. Joe dies a year and a half in. And Kamala Harris is the president for 2.5 years. Has anybody thought about that?
Nope. Just don't even say that.
Yeah. Like, there's a chance that Kamala Harris has a significant amount of time and gets elevated from 2 to 1 because the hack in office right now eventually taps out. Like, where the hell are we right now? And this is on a day when we talk about changing the narrative with the news. Biden, more damning evidence against Joe. Here comes the Trump indictment. This is on a day yesterday and over the last 24 hours where all of a sudden you start to slide away from the smoke coverage from Canada and the media is hammering away on the Las Vegas UFO crash and burn story. This is it, folks.
My next statement has nothing to do with a guilt or innocent thought. It is purely the politics of this.
Yeah.
For people to say that this is not political, it is but by the very definition of the fact that this is happening now, when he's running for president, makes it political. You said something in the big take, Nick. If he wasn't running for president, would this be happening?
No.
And the answer is absolutely not. So therefore, by that definition, it is political.
Right.
But Greg, I think even if he said he was not running, I was looking up memes of, make sure he's dead, movies. I think that they would still persecute him.
I don't.
Just to make sure to give the final shiv. They hate him.
Yes, it is political, but it's very personal.
But
to your point earlier, he came in as an outsider, said the things you don't say, said the quiet part out loud, rattled the cages. This is like, because you talk about challenging the way it is, the way it's always been, the structure, the establishment. This is the way the system works. This is like a successful sports organization that all of a sudden gets this great player, and he comes in and does it his way, and they're winning, and things are great, but the organization doesn't like the way this guy goes about it. The GM doesn't like it. The coach had all this success before, and now this player comes in, and it's all about the player. It's not about the coach. It's like the same. I've worked in sports radio stations where I've actually had the thought that despite talent X being so great, he's so great that the bosses around him would like to have it a little bit different because they can't get to that guy because he's so good, he's so untouchable. I'm telling you, that's what Trump is. Trump's the outsider that they despise because he succeeded in an area where he had no past experience. He just walked in and crushed it. Mm-hmm. And they took it personally.
And they're threatened by it.
Correct. Very threatened by it. He goes in and beats the Clintons. Ha! He brought a flamethrower to the swamp. It's great. And they were like, this can never happen again. It happened once. We will not allow it to happen a second time or a third time. And you're watching it play out live in front of your eyes. 855-839-1210 is the phone number. An homage to those extreme radical mothers when we come back on Kayal and Company. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
Wendy's Strawberry Frosty is back for the summer. Because if it's summertime, it's Frosty time. Beach time, Frosty time. Tea time, Frosty time. Me time, Frosty time. Treat yourself to Wendy's Strawberry Frosty this summer and make time for Frosty time. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's. Now open till midnight or later.
Limited time only. Participating U.S. Wendy's. Hours may vary.
Hi, I'm Brian Burhan's Executive Director of the Pennsylvania Game Commission. Pennsylvania deer hunters, big changes were recently made to the antlerless deer license purchasing process. On June 26 at 8 a.m., resident hunters can buy their 2023-24 antlerless license online at HuntFish PA or at any in-store hunting license issuing agent. Visit pgc.pa.gov for all details or call 1-833-PGC-HUNT for more information. Thank you for being a Pennsylvania hunter.
Paid for by the Pennsylvania Game Commission.
Hurts gives it off and keeps it and rolls down to the 2. And is he in? Yes! He let it go and it's intercepted. It's picked up by Josh Sweat. 15-10-5. Touchdown, Josh Sweat. Deep down the far side, and it is A.J. Brown again. Another touchdown. He steps up. He's hit. He fumbles the football, but I think he has it. Nope. Now the Eagles have it. That'll be the game. He breaks away at the 35-30, 25-20, 15-10-5. Miles Sanders, touchdown. Wow. He is firing the football, and it is caught by DeMonte Smith. Great catch. Attention, air traffic control. A flock of eagles is heading to Arizona.
Ah, sweet memories. Last season was so much fun, and I believe this season will be even better. If you want your business to be part of this season's Eagles Radio Network highlight reel, email advertise@94wip.com for information. More great action is quickly approaching.
Summer brings the heat, but will your water heater? Bradford White knows no one wants to be out of hot water, no matter what the temperature is outside. Whether it's a vacation home or your everyday home, you need reliable hot water. You need a Bradford White. Bradford White water heaters are built to be the best, with both the efficiency and performance you deserve. Ask your plumbing professional to make it hot with a Bradford White water heater. Visit BradfordWhite.com to learn more and find a pro near you.
One of the best ways to extend the life of your air conditioner and prevent breakdowns is an annual check of your system. Oliver's 20-point inspection by a certified technician includes a test of all major operations of your air conditioner. Schedule your appointment for an AC safety inspection by May 31st and pay only $70. And if we find a problem, you'll save $50 on any AC repair. Call Oliver today to schedule your appointment and stay nice and cool all summer. Oliver Heating and Cooling. Peace of mind for your home and business.
Hey, it's Joe to Camera. Memorial Day may be in the rearview mirror, but the savings continue at United Tire and Service. Save $150 on a set of 4 tires on brands like Michelin, BF Goodrich, Continental, and more. Instant savings of $40 plus an additional $110 off. That's a great deal. That's great savings of $150. So get summer road trip ready at locally owned United Tire locations. Don't drive alone. Drive United and tell them Joe DeCamera sent you.
Calling on Media PA to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
$6:50 Friday morning. Welcome back in, Kayal and Company, as we continue. Nick, Dawn, and Greg, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. You can get us on the free Odyssey app. Watch us on YouTube, 855-839-1210. Dawn will have some news coming up in the 7 o'clock hour. What's on the cut sheet? Just about an hour from now. You know, I was going to get to the big take this morning, and this was yesterday afternoon, 3:30, 4 o'clock. Wanted to focus in on the Moms for Liberty story. A couple of different stories that we've discussed on this show. Dawn had a great interview yesterday. And then, of course, the Trump indictment happens last night. So we had to do a little audible, a little shifting. Trump goes into the big take, and then the first 35 minutes of the show. But I do want to get to this right now. So, and we'll certainly get your thoughts. I want to get Dawn and Greg's thoughts on this as well. You know, you've got all of these radical mothers out there, right? At least that's how they're being portrayed.
Radical in air quotes.
Yes, yes. So, attention all moms. The far left wants you to know that you are a radical. If you are a mother who has conservative beliefs and votes Republican, you are an extremist if you believe boys can only be boys and girls can only be girls. You are a terrorist if you don't want to have your children taught about gender identity in grade school. Well, you could stay quiet and then they would never know. But if you voice your opinion on these issues, you will be attacked. You will be attacked by the woke educators of America, the progressives that have flooded the schools of America with their views of how they believe you should raise your child. Actually, they are all of our children. Isn't that right, Biden administration? They are the children of the community. In the latest edition of The Left Has Gone Crazy, we now have Moms for Liberty being designated as an extremist group by watchdog organizations. I've got a story in front of me from Yahoo, and according to the story on Yahoo, the Southern Poverty Law Center labeled the controversial right-wing organization Moms for Liberty as an anti-government extremist group in its annual report issued on Tuesday. Moms for Liberty has gained recognition for actively pursuing an anti-LGBTQ plus agenda at school boards and with state-level legislation. Billing itself as a defender of parental rights at all levels of government, Moms for Liberty began with some Florida women who said they had concerns over COVID safety measures in schools. However, the group has now evolved into an anti-student inclusion movement that actively opposes inclusive curricula on topics such as race and gender, SPLC wrote in its report. In the report, SLPC explained Moms for Liberty's new designation by citing factors such as disruptive incidents at school board meetings and the group's political alliances and extremist ties. Let's get something straight right now. My parental rights, Dawn's parental rights, Greg's parental rights, they don't end when our children step foot on your school grounds. My daughters, when they walk and step foot on school property, they are still my daughters. When they are on the bus, they are my daughters. When they are at recess, they are my kids. And when they are in class under your supervision, they are still my children. I pay your salary. You teach them the core subjects and other social and communication skills. You don't throw your political slants onto my child. The best part about this story is that I think many Republicans and moderate to liberal Democrats agree on this issue. Most of us are in unison when it comes to keeping this stuff out of schools with our kids, but it's the far left, woke, progressive nut jobs that are the minority percentage in the battle of culture wars being fought in the schools. And I have some audio to prove that Republicans and Democrats, they do agree on this in general. Let's listen to two individuals from the five with different political backgrounds. You have Judge Jeanine and you have Harold Ford, two of the five panelists on the five. The judge is conservative. Harold Ford is a Democrat, but both in agreement on this issue. Let's listen first to Judge Jeanine on parental rights.
I think it's so important for moms to stick.
Nope, that's not it. That is not Judge Jeanine.
That was Alice.
That was Alice, who was on with Dawn yesterday. All right.
Sweetheart.
Let's see if we have Judge Jeanine here.
We do not.
We do not. Okay.
Thank you for doing this topic, by the way. I love you for this.
Yeah, I've got. I want to play Judge Jeanine because she goes off on it, and then Harold Ford, who's I think a pretty level-headed Democrat, even though I don't agree with a lot of the stuff he says. He's
classy.
not. Yeah, he's very classy. He's the opposite of Tarlov on that show. You know, I want to throw the remote at the TV when she comes on.
I just have Moms for Live and wait, hang on,
Okay.
Judge Jeanine. Here we go.
All right, let's hear. Here, let's go from the judge to Ford, and then we'll get to Alice in two different clips with Dawn. Let's hear from Judge Jeanine.
It seems that the schools right now are ground zero for the cultural war that is breaking out right now. And, you know, the fact that parents want to be involved in their kids' education because COVID lifted the veil of what they're teaching our kids, which explains why so many corporate heads are woke and clearly, you know, off the rails. It simply means that it is really time now to get involved. Education is a local issue. And parents now know their strength, as Dana said, from what happened in Virginia, Loudoun County. And the left wants to simply destroy education as we know it. And the idea of Joe Biden, who has been talking to the school teachers, and there are kids when they're in school. You know, no, they're not your kids. They were never your kids. They're our kids, and we'll decide what we want them to learn. And the left has people convinced that we want our kids to continue to be white supremacists and oppressors, and that's what education's all about, and they have to fight it. No, they don't. Just teach the rigors of education.
Boy, what a concept. Just teach the rigors of education. Let's hear Harold Ford, one of the two Democrats on the five, and he shares the same belief as the Republican. Listen.
Parents can agree or disagree about how and what their kids should be taught. And because I may disagree with someone, I would say that the Southern Poverty Law Center, who's done great work in other areas, you should denounce this. No one's a terrorist because you happen to disagree with them. I agree with you, Judge. We should return to many of the basics in science, in math, and reading, the core of what helps kids be able to critically think.
Geez, what a concept. Get back to the basics, especially for schools and students and in districts where you're a year and a half to 2 years behind because of the COVID-19 pandemic. See, it's absurd that the left can get away with labeling parents as terrorists because they show up and voice their opinions at school board meetings and they are passionate about it. Republicans get loud, they are deemed insurrectionists. Democrats get loud, and it's mostly peaceful because they feel like they're being attacked. It's beyond nauseating at this point, and to be honest, it's dangerous. I thought Dawn Stensland did a great job highlighting some of these battles with a guest that she had on the Dawn Show yesterday. Alice Shattuck, a mom as well as an activist who resides in Connecticut, is dealing with a story that includes boys age 8 being sent home with puberty kits, including panty liners and maxi pads, after being shown videos about gender identity. Parents are upset about this, as we mentioned yesterday, where kids are being shown Pride Month videos addressing gender identity without their knowledge. These kids are in 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. Here is Alice talking about this story yesterday with Dawn. Listen.
I think it's so important for moms to stick together and to do things together, even just in a social way without it needing to be like a signature drive or a petition or something, just to feel like you're not crazy sometimes. One of the things I've been able to do in my community, and it's kind of grown over the last year or so, is we have a group of moms, some younger, some older, some whose kids are grown, but just who are like-minded about these types of issues, some people who are liberal and some people who are more conservative, but are really unified on this issue of, we're parents, we're in the community, and we're not crazy. We're not nuts. We're not the bad guys here. And, we've gotten together socially, and the group has grown over time as people have invited others to it, because I think that one of the things that the media does is try and make you feel very lonely, like you're the only person who feels this way. You're the only person. You're the one with the problem. Everybody, all the doctors, all the experts, all the politicians, they're all saying this. We are all in agreement. Nobody feels like you do. And it's sort of an emperor's new clothes thing. Like, you're looking at this and thinking, am I the only one who notices what's going on here? Am I out of my mind? But if you get together with some other people, it just feels so good. And you realize that even we're in a really blue state. There are other people that feel like you do, and that the left has gotten so extreme and veered so far away from common sense that really there are a lot of people out there who feel like we do.
Yes.
And as soon as you speak up, they go on the offensive and make false accusations about your character and integrity. Take a listen. Here's part 2 of Alice with Dawn yesterday as they talk about the moms that are battling and taking war with this fight.
Absolutely. This is a story from Granby, Connecticut, where my husband Tom is on the radio in Connecticut, and I join him to talk there as well as on our podcast, the Burn Barrel podcast. And we talk about these issues all the time in New England where we are, and we talk to other moms who are saying, our kids are getting shown this stuff, and no one even warned us that this was going to be happening in the school. They're showing a video in the school that's telling kids that they can question their gender. This is in 3rd grade, so kids as young as 8 years old, and the school's not even letting the parents know in advance. And then when you speak up about it, they gaslight you. They say, oh, this isn't about gender and sexuality. This is just about being kind to others. It's just about tolerance. We're just teaching your kids to be nice. And they try and make you feel like the crazy person for even saying anything about it, like you imagined the whole thing.
That was Alice yesterday with Dawn on The Dawn Show. I'd like to applaud all the mothers out there fighting this courageous battle that really shouldn't be remotely courageous, but it is, and it has become just that because the left will intimidate you for merely disagreeing with their forced ideology on your children. Kudos to Dawn, kudos to Alice, and all the moms in the audience that are obviously fighting that battle. All right, we'll get Dawn's thoughts on the other side, and then we'll get to the news as we get ready for the 7 o'clock hour. If you have thoughts, 855-839-1210. The phone number. Got to tell you about my friends at the Piazza Auto Group. Had the privilege of test driving some amazing vehicles from our friends at the Piazza Auto Group. And I've seen all the great SUVs. I've sampled a bunch of them, from the Alfa Romeo to the Maserati to the Land Rover. They all made sense, but it was time for me to get my lease, and I couldn't fight the urge. I couldn't resist anymore, and I went with the truck, not a minivan, a truck, the 2023 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition from Piazza Honda in Springfield. Family coming up in a matter of days, summer of moving, all sorts of stuff going on. Perfect vehicle for me. It's gorgeous. It's got the right blend of size, power, speed, and style. You can see the pictures on my Twitter. And if you're in the market for a new or certified pre-owned vehicle, whether it's a truck, SUV, car, or minivan, I encourage you to shop with Piazza Auto Group. 15 brands, 34 locations. Trust me, they'll get you in a vehicle that fits your exact needs. Check them out at piazzaautogroup.com.
Hi, it's Rich Zioli. I'm joined here today by my friend, the co-president and CEO of Cooper University Healthcare, the one and only Dr. Anthony Mazzarelli. Dr. Maz and I are here to tell you about our buddy, Dr. Mike Venaria. Not only is he my dentist, he's my family's dentist as well. And not sure if you knew this, he's Dr. Maz's dentist too.
That's right, Rich. Dr. Mike Venaria is and has been my dentist also. And doctors choosing doctors, that can be quite a selective process. And not only do I go to him, but for years, my sister and my niece and my nephew, the whole family goes.
Well, it's no secret. We're all delighted by the care that Dr. Mike Venaria and his award-winning team provide, and you need to check him out.
Whether you're looking for pediatric, general, cosmetic, implant dentistry, you don't need to look any further. Dr. Venaria's office does everything. Dr. Venaria's office also exceeds all CDC guidelines and has always maintained the strictest infection control, like their centralized UV sterilization of airflow, which is incredibly important to me.
Locations are right over the bridge in Cinnaminson and Woodbury. Your perfect smile's waiting. Call 856-786-2020 or visit venariadental.com.
WPHT, WPHT HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
I have diabetes. I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
I have asthma. I'm at risk, too.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine, a vaccine that can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just one dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Hey, it's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow, weather-wise. Today as well, but tomorrow as well. A great day to have some family fun and get out to Bucks County, Pennsylvania. Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association, as well as Parks Racing, inviting you to a day of family fun. That's tomorrow at the track, Parks Racing. Gates open 10 o'clock in the morning. The Basset Hounds are back. It's Barks at Parks, P-A-R-X, and Belmont Stakes Day, too. Enjoy family fun at the Parks Picnic Grove from noon to 5, featuring pony rides, moon bounces, face painters, so much more. It's going to be a lot of fun. And like I say, just a beautiful, sunny, clear day. Plus music by DJ Tonka, food and beverage specials, souvenir merchandise, and so much more. So come on and watch the Basset Hound races in between the thoroughbred races to benefit Tri-State Basset Hound Rescue. Enjoy all the thrill of live thoroughbred racing and watch the Belmont Stakes on the big screen at Parks Racing. First post, 12:05. So it's all from the Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association and Parks Racing in Bensalem, Street Road exit right off 95 and the PA Turnpike. So just come for a day of family fun. It's tomorrow at the track, Parks Racing. Gates open 10 o'clock in the morning. Got to be 18 to wager at Parks Racing and 21 to gamble at Parks Casino. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Download the free Odyssey app, AUDACY, and take us along wherever you're going this summer. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
The word is Odyssey. Can you spell it? AUDACY. Can you use it in a sentence? Download the free Odyssey app. Welcome back.
We get a lot of questions about the spelling for that. So.
When I got hired in January 2020, right before the pandemic, that was right around the time where it went from Entercom and then rebranded as Odyssey.
Yep.
And I remember the first day I got the email from my bosses in Atlanta, I'm thinking, how do you pronounce that?
Yep.
And if you've listened to this show, you know that's why I ask, how do you pronounce it? 'Cause I've been known to butcher things. Audacity? Is that what it's called? Odyssey? Like O-D-Y-S-S-E-Y?
A-U-D-A-C-Y.
I think it's kind of clever. Think about it. Odyssey and audio and...
Odyssey.
Yeah. There you go.
Odyssey, audio, Odyssey.
Uh-huh. It's been an interesting Odyssey since 2015 if you're Donald Trump, right? Welcome back in. It's Kayal and Company, Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. We'll get to Dawn's news in just a moment, but that was kind of like the original big take before the Trump stuff came down last night. And I went back, Dawn, and listened to your interview with Alice. It was great stuff. And, really nice work by all of you guys, all of you moms out there, because, think about how, and Dawn, I want to get all your thoughts on everything that I just said and everything that you covered yesterday. But women are under attack in so many different ways right now. Their sports are being invaded by biological males. And then if you're a passionate mom who just stands up for what's right with schools and the way, teachers should not be, indoctrinating their kids, you're being labeled as extremists and terrorists and, nut jobs on that front. If you're let's be honest, if you're a conservative female right now who is not afraid to speak up and also believes that dudes shouldn't be in female locker rooms, you guys are just getting it from every direction right now. I don't envy you, to be honest.
Yeah, it's really it's a crazy time. My bottom line take on it is the establishment or Democrats don't want, and maybe the teachers union, not teachers, but the teachers union, they don't want moms to unite. They don't want women and moms to unite. And so we are on the front lines of this battle for our children. And that's why, at one point in Alice, the emotion in her, she's pregnant right now. She and her husband they have 3 little boys. Their oldest is a girl, and she's pregnant with what will be their 5th child right now. Okay, so they have a big family. They've homeschooled. She's homeschooled for a while, and busy working mom with obviously her hands full and due in October with their 5th baby and another little boy. So you think about what she's going through, and yet she feels that this is a calling to say, no, I'm not alone, to have that realization, because they want you to feel like you are isolated, you conservative, crazy, kooky, deplorable mom, and all of a sudden, when you have those conversations and you realize, oh, well, yeah, there are a lot of us. And I don't think that a lot of these women are even political. And that's what I would say. So many of my friends and family here in this area, they're not people who were ever political in their lives until all of a sudden they realize what's going on here.
Their hand was forced.
Yeah, that's it. That they feel forced to say, wait a minute, A, we're not alone. B, we absolutely have every right to be involved in our children's curriculum, their lives. We have parental rights, and they're trying to take that away and put a divider in between people and their children. And then you have, with the Southern Poverty Law Center, who in the heck are they anyway?
I know,
coming out, right? Yes, and we talked about this, but to come out and say, oh, these moms for liberty, they're like a terrorist group.
Yeah.
So now they're calling mothers, literally mothers across the country in these little grassroots groups.
And they're represented, I think, in 45 states?
Yes, including here in New Jersey, Delaware. They're all over the country. And to say that they're saying you're a terrorist because you're an involved mom.
And then people that only read the headlines or just see the tweet take that as gospel and run with it, and then look down upon people like you.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for the story when DOJ, sent the weaponization, starts arresting these moms.
Yeah.
Gathering, rounding them up and putting them in jail.
Yep.
And so thank you for doing that. And Anthony Dorenzo did a great job of setting up Alice. And I just think that she is one of the many. Meg Brock is another one. We've had a lot of moms even who ran for school board.
And I believe Alice does radio with her husband, correct? In Connecticut, if I read that correctly. I was like, wait a minute, this is like Dawn and Larry of Connecticut.
Yeah.
Is she on with her husband on Fridays at 11?
I don't know. I don't know if she's a regular or if they do. I know they have some podcasts, and I don't know how she does it, quite frankly, because it sounds like they're both doing a whole lot.
Right.
And that's a piece of it that, she was perfectly content homeschooling her kids and taking a little time off of her professional life with a lot of young kids in the house and having a baby now, and saying, no, you know what? I have to now step into this ring because it's too important.
Yep.
And we have to fight. Moms like Alice, just on the front lines of this battle, and it's an important battle.
And speaking of the Dawn Show, did I see this correctly? Because, not everything on the internet's true, but is a previous old boss coming on their show this morning?
Oh, Andy Bloom?
Yeah.
So
is that confirmed? I saw that. Or is that just rumored in internet speculation?
I think he's coming. I think he's been on before.
Okay.
But it was funny because my husband came, I don't know, I was in the yard working, and he's like, hey.
Cutting grass while the smoke was in the air.
And he's like, hey, Andy Bloom's coming on your show? And I go, yeah, I think so. I think Anthony confirmed it. Well, why should I find that out from the internet? I don't know. It's just like, help me weed, and then we'll talk.
Yes. 855-839-1210 is the phone number. So we'll get to some other stuff coming up in a little bit. We've got some DeSantis news. Also, a big win for free speech in Vermont, but also why the Ivy League is so against free speech. Interesting story from Princeton University. But before we get to all of that, and before we work our way towards what's on the cut sheet, let's get to round number 2 of the news. And here is Dawn Stensland.
And a lot of news this morning. We are sponsored by Best Work Industries for the blind. So in the news, we've talked about the fact that we are under this code orange, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, code red for Delaware, with the smoke from those hundreds of wildfires in Canada dissipating in our area. In fact, none of us here at Odyssey World headquarters in Philadelphia, none of us could actually smell it like we could the other days. So that's good news for all of us as restrictions become lifted and all the warnings and alerts and all of that. But I will give you a headline in the Philadelphia Inquirer this morning. Philly had its worst fine particle air pollution day on record, and that was this week. So we had the worst on record, the fine particle day. We're still talking about fine particles. So we also have in the news some legislation involving what happened earlier this week. Remember that we talked about in the beginning of the week, the investigation continuing into the death of this Delco teen shot and killed by a state trooper, and that happened early Sunday on I-95 as a group had shut down. There were hundreds of these drag racers and so on and so forth. They had shut down I-95, and the state troopers tell the story that a vehicle was charging toward them, in fact, rammed them, injured them. They fired that shot through the windshield, striking and killing the 18-year-old from Glen Mills. So his family and friends gathering for his funeral yesterday as that investigation continues for sure. Meantime, Philadelphia City Council introducing legislation yesterday expanding local law enforcement and imposing some stricter penalties on people involved in street racing events like the deadly one that happened that shut down I-95. And that was really one of many events that happened last weekend where hundreds of people were gathered, a really crazy, chaotic situation. So this proposed bill would impose $2,000 in fines and then would allow police to actually seize the vehicles, because we heard that in particular this teenager had a very expensive type of Audi, $60,000+ vehicle. So whether it's a vehicle, whether it's some kind of a motorcycle or three-wheeler, whatever that is, police would be able to seize the driver's vehicles. And if they were engaged in drifting, these donuts, the spin-outs in Philadelphia. And so they're actually adding the term drifting to Philadelphia's traffic code. So the new definition, and this is proposed and most likely will pass. We're hearing as far as because of all the smoky conditions, as you know, in Philadelphia, the trash collection had been suspended. Now it's back. So I'm trying to find out if that means that if yesterday was your collection day, are they just delayed by a day? Because I'm obsessed with trash day. So usually Friday is the trash day and the trash is not out. So I'm kind of freaked out about it. But so I'm trying to find out how that's going to work because they're now a day behind. So we don't know if they're going to also pothole patrol. All of that was suspended due to those air quality alerts. And that brings us to, yes, Philadelphia Public Schools Zoom learning today, although staffers must report. And amid that, there were stories, and a lot of parents are saying the grades are in. We have 2 weeks left of school, but the grades are already in. And so some parents saying, why would you do it this way, that they have the report cards, they have their grades, and yet you're keeping school going on?
It makes no sense. If I'm a student and I'm able to figure this out, I'm telling my mom, I'm like, Mom, I'm starting my summer right now. I'm done.
Yeah.
Well, isn't it because there's no air conditioning and so they can't open windows, right? Wouldn't that be the reason why they're doing
Well, and
this?
think about this as well. And you don't, if the air quality is as bad as they're still claiming it to be, the last thing you probably want to do when you're in that schoolroom is then open the windows, right?
But yes, but isn't that why I'm not defending what they're doing, but isn't that why they're doing it?
In case they have to cancel due to hot days, in other words?
I guess. I'm trying to figure out how the Phillies could play a baseball game last night, but kids can't go to school today.
With all the asbestos in the buildings, and we had $500 million for schools, and I know that many are looking into this. Where is all that money? It has not yet. Most of it has not yet been allocated. And so my question is, there are all these empty buildings. Even Comcast had trouble. Put the kids in one of these big air-conditioned brand new buildings.
Yeah.
Let them go to school. and make up for the learning.
Might as well. Adults want to stay home anyway and work virtually. Might as well use the property for something good.
Yeah, it's just a nightmare situation. But parents are becoming activated in Philadelphia and realizing that when the parents start going into these public picketing situations, they do get results.
Yeah. I think the pandemic brought a lot of people to the forefront and said, whoa, let's take a look at what's really going on here.
Yeah, it's well put. We've talked a lot, and if you missed Nick Kayal's big take, a great big take this morning in the 6 a.m. hour about former President Donald J. Trump and the federal indictment that came down last night. He calls it election interference at the highest level. So just to update that, as Nick said earlier, he faces a courtroom next Tuesday. Of course, we'll be all over it, covering that for you. But next Tuesday, he will be in court to face these allegations. It's yet to be unsealed. It's an unsealed document, so we don't know the exact 7 criminal charges facing a former president and current leading candidate in the 2024 presidential upcoming campaign. So we're talking about that one as well. Our Phillies completed the sweep and begin a new series against the Dodgers. So we have another series, starting the weekend series against the Dodgers at home, Citizens Bank Park, but Phillies topping the Detroit Tigers 3-2. So the good luck streak continues for sure. Best Work Industries for the Blind, Changing Lives, a nonprofit organization located in Cherry Hill. Best Work Industries for the Blind, providing training as well as employment for people who are blind or visually impaired. For employment opportunities or to donate, you want to go to bestworkindustries.org. Real quick, NBC 10 first alert forecast. A little cooler today, but partly cloudy skies, 74 for your high today. And then for the weekend, we are expecting for most of that Canada smoke to clear. And we are in the lower 80s tomorrow for your Saturday, 82, bright sunny skies. And then Sunday, 89 degrees with partly sunny skies. Rain for Monday, much needed rain. That's your NBC 10 first alert forecast. And this is Kayal & Company News Live.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. 855-839-1210. Coming up next, the fear of artificial intelligence when it comes to campaigns and politics between two GOP frontrunners. That story on the way as we continue Kayal & Company Friday edition, Talk Radio 1210. WPHT.
Let's face it, your company is still feeling the financial effects of the pandemic. And if you own a restaurant, dental practice, or other small business that persevered through lockdown, a quick phone call to Omega Accounting Solutions can be a game changer. Omega Accounting Solutions is an established, respected accounting firm, helping businesses like yours receive the ERC tax credit. Unlike CPAs and others who may not grasp all the complexities of the ERC, Omega's experts are fully trained to understand ERC qualifications and simplify the application process. Learn in less than 10 minutes if you are a good candidate. Call Omega even if you've applied for other pandemic assistance in the past. If your company employed 5 to 500 employees during the COVID crisis and continue to pay payroll taxes, you may be eligible to receive a refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Running a small business is challenging enough. Trust Omega Accounting Solutions to help claim the tax credits you deserve. Call now 1-800-300-9ERC or online at OmegaTaxCredits.com. The phone number again, 1-800-39-ERC. That's 1-800-300-9372.
Joe Conklin and the City Rhythm Orchestra, July 15th in Ocean City, New Jersey, and July 22nd in North Wildwood.
I loved it. I didn't know what to expect. I wasn't sure I'd like it, but I'll tell you, I'm glad I came. Best ever.
He reinvented himself. It was really good, man. The music, the singing, everything. You laugh, you tear it up.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra, July 15th at the Ocean City Music Pier and July 22nd at Wildwood Catholic High School. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
A pilot program of cameras mounted on SEPTA buses found thousands of cars illegally parked in bus lanes. A high school teacher in the Lower Merion School District is accused of soliciting nude photos of underage girls. Former President Donald Trump has been indicted on 7 charges of mishandling classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago estate.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
You're invited to a private showing of the most important movie you'll see in retirement.
The Baby Boomer Dilemma is a groundbreaking documentary from award-winning director Doug Orchard. Throughout the film, Nobel Prize winners, PhDs, and esteemed economists expose the cracks in the financial industry that have 401ks, IRAs, Social Security, and other retirement plans on the brink of collapse. After the movie, you'll receive an education that's unlike any other. Learn how to apply the solutions presented by these experts, which align with and validate our proprietary crash-proof retirement system, proven by over 5,000 consumers. Register for this complimentary screening at Springfield Country Club on June 28th, and let Crash-Proof Retirement provide you the crucial information you need to avoid the baby boomer dilemma that's on the horizon. Registration is required. 800-722-9728 or crashproofretirement.com.
Cozy Jewelers isn't an ordinary jeweler. They create beautiful, one-of-a-kind heirlooms designed to stay in your family for generations. So for something extra special for Mother's Day, anniversary, or just because, choose Cozy. With over a century of combined experience, Cozy Jewelers artisans know every piece and moment should be magical. Before you buy off the shelf, experience handcrafted custom jewelry from local specialists with the 5 C's of diamonds: cut, color, clarity, carat, and cozy. COZZIJewelers.com.
This is Flea for This Little Light, a podcast about falling in love with music. I started a nonprofit music school about 20 years ago called the Silver Lake Conservatory of Music. The reason that I started doing this podcast was music education. I'll be speaking with Rick Rubin, Thundercat, Stuart Copeland, Margot Price, Corey Henry, Cynthia Erivo, Sheila E., and Patty Smith.
Please listen and follow This Little Light, a presentation of Cadence 13 on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. I want to tell you about my friend, dentist and board-certified prosthodontist Dr. Robert Bentz of the Bentz Group in East Norriton. I've always enjoyed talking to his staff and patients, and it drives home a big point. Dr. Bentz is a problem solver. People come from all over. Other dentists refer their tougher cases to Dr. Bentz. Whatever your issues are, Dr. Bentz is going to develop a custom plan for your long-term oral health. And yes, give you that smile you've always dreamed of. Plus, if you or a family member have been avoiding going to the dentist due to fear or anxiety, even if it's been years, Dr. Bentz offers sedation dentistry to make your visit a pleasant experience. So if you've been putting off a nagging minor problem, take care of it now before it gets worse. From routine care to dental implants, on-site digital lab, great staff, they'll make the visit the most comfortable and convenient possible. Get the oral care you need and deserve and that beautiful smile that you've always wanted. Visit thebentzdentalgroup.com. Book that appointment today, bentzdentalgroup.com or 610-272-6949.
Download the free Odyssey app, AUDACY, and take us along wherever you're going this summer. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. WPHT.
That's right, Kayal and Company, as we continue Friday morning. What's on the cut sheet coming up in 20 minutes? Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. If you're on your way to the shore or anywhere outside of this area, the Odyssey app, take us with you as you go. Watch us on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT, 855-839-1210. Campaign fears with artificial intelligence is here. We'll tell you what the DeSantis camp is guilty of and why the Trump campaign has every right to be ticked off. That's coming up in just a few minutes, as well as a big win for free speech and a loss for free speech. But right now, let's get your thoughts, 855-839-1210. We have Ted in Swarthmore, who's got some thoughts on Trump and how the GOP should handle what happened last night. Ted, good morning. How are you?
Morning, Nick. Good to talk to you again. Hey, I think at this point the Republicans need to understand that the gloves are off. Step up. Don't be a Mitch McConnell and a Lindsey Graham and whine and moan. Take it to the fight. Every single person that's running for president on a Republican ticket right now, except Donald J. Trump, should drop out, making him the only Republican candidate. Then let them continue to attack him. And then we can see that Merrick Garland was a bad choice that Cocaine Mitch stopped. The only one thing he ever did good.
Yeah, Merrick is definitely a bad choice, Ted. And, I appreciate the call. And, I think the best case scenario right now, I think all you are going to get in regards to those other candidates is a tweet. That's all you're going to get. You're gonna get a statement from their PR department. You'll get a post on Twitter, and that's it.
It's easy for everybody to sit here and say, well, everybody needs to drop out. There's 0% chance that's happening. 0% chance that's happening.
And the reality is, this is politics, much like many other industries. It's a dog-eat-dog world, right? I mean, this is, about as dirty and as ruthless as it gets. You attack, you attack, you attack. You deny, you deny, you deny. And then eventually, you kind of rally around each other because ultimately, at the end of the day, it's Republicans versus Democrats. It's the right versus the left. And, all of that's great in theory with what Ted just said. But even the people that have no shot, I mean, like Pence or Christie or Ramaswamy, that third tier below the Scotts and Haleys, and then the next tier, DeSantis, and then Trump in a whole category by himself, they're not going to drop out.
Well, and there are legal. You brought this up earlier about Charlie Kirk saying that, but there are legalities to it as well. So it's not just that you say, "Oh, I'm in the campaign" or "I'm out of the campaign." There are laws,
paperwork.
There's a ton of paperwork, but in other words, if you suspend a campaign, then that has legal and monetary ramifications. And that kicks in, then what do you do with the money you raise? You have to put it in such and such account. And it spurs an entire chain reaction.
Right.
So it's not as easy as it sounds.
This is not like running for class council in fifth grade.
So I think there's that piece of it.
Sure.
So
I'm also not sure what dropping out does. Donald Trump is going to win the primary. He's going to win the primary.
These people are dead either way they look at it.
Exactly.
Whether they run or they don't, they're losing to Trump. And that includes DeSantis, by the way.
I think part of what they're saying is then the election interference issue becomes a bigger one if you say there's only one person running against Joe Biden and Biden's DOJ. Biden essentially is trying to take out his one and only opponent. I think that's what they're saying.
He would go uncontested, basically.
Yeah. So this is a strategy for Biden to win if he just takes out his opponent, which, by the way, that's what, third world countries do.
Mm-hmm. I mean, think about what could be his 8 years as president. In campaign number one, he runs it from a basement during a pandemic. And the second time around, the weaponization of his own DOJ to take out his most worthy adversary. Like, that's where we're at right now in the United States of America. So when you see people tweeting and they say the words like banana republic, it's not really that far off. It's not far-fetched at all. 855-839-1210. What's on the cut sheet is coming up in 15 minutes, but the DeSantis campaign should get roasted. And this is, I believe, the danger. This is actually one of the things I've said is a concern of mine when it comes to artificial intelligence. Not robots and computers coming to kill us, but what happened yesterday. The story coming up next. Stay there.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. June means Men's Health Month for Rescue Natural Supplements. We all know how demanding life can be. When juggling work, family, and personal commitments, you need energy and optimal health. So fear not, because Rescue Men's Health Supplements are here for you. For the month of June, save 50% on the products that guys need most. That's half off on testosterone boosters, prostate support, and more. Discover the amazing benefits of Rescue Natural Male, Prime RX, Super Prostate. No code is needed to get 50% off. Just call a Rescue Product Consultant, 800-26-ALIVE, 800-262-5483, or shop online by visiting res-q.com. res-q.com. It's not just your physical health. Men's supplements can help your mental well-being too. Again, no code is needed to get 50% off on Rescue Men's Health favorites. Shop res-q.com today, res-q.com.
In the Pennsylvania Army National Guard, get a head start on a career in exciting fields, including science, communications, engineering, and medicine, all while earning money for your education. This training will boost your eligibility for a high-paying and rewarding profession, and you can get it all while serving part-time in your community. To learn more about the Pennsylvania Army National Guard, visit nationalguard.com/PA and talk to a recruiter today. Paid for by the Pennsylvania Army National Guard.
At Wells Fargo, if you accidentally overdraw your account, we give you an extra day grace period to avoid the overdraft fee. What if everything came with an extra day?
Sunday night and I have the Sunday scaries.
Honey, don't be scared. Every weekend comes with an extra day now.
All right.
TGI Sunday.
It helps to have an extra day. When it comes to overdrafts, you can with Wells Fargo.
Visit wellsfargo.com/getextra to learn more. Terms and conditions apply, subject to timing requirements and the bank's funds availability policy. Wells Fargo Bank N.A., member FDIC.
At Agora Cyber Charter School, all students can thrive in a classroom. Agora staff rallies around each student, giving them a sense of belonging through their own unique experience from the safety and comfort of their home. Live instruction is taught in real time by PA-certified teachers. Students have no barriers to reaching their highest potential, to being challenged, to being curious, to being connected. Agora serves Pennsylvania students grades K through 12. Enroll today for the 2023 to 2024 school year. Learn more and attend a live virtual open house at agora.org.
Businesses to watch, a spotlight on Armin Chevrolet. Armin Chevrolet's sizzling summer sell-down has arrived. So has the all-new, bigger, bolder, and more refined 2024 Chevrolet Trax. With a starting price of only $21,495. Yes, you heard right, $21,495. And all 5 Armin Chevrolet Trax models starting under $25,000. There's sure to be a Trax you love. Armin Chevrolet has over 45 new Chevrolet Trax available, but they're selling fast. Visit ArminChevy.com. Find new roads to Armin Chevrolet, where dealership meets friendship.
Join us at Odyssey as we all do our one thing, together millions of things for our planet. Cut up 6-pack rings and reduce your use of plastic to keep it out of waterways and oceans. When we each share our one thing, it becomes a million things for our planet. What's your one thing?
You know, the Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association and Parks Racing inviting you to a great day of family fun. It's going to be a beautiful day tomorrow at the track. Park Racing. Gates open 10 a.m. Yeah, the Basset Hounds are back. It's Barks at Parks and Belmont Stakes Day, of course. Enjoy family fun at the Parks Picnic Grove from noon to 5. And they've got so much fun stuff, especially for the kids and the fam. Pony rides, moon bounces, face painters, and so much more. Plus music by DJ Tonka. A lot of good food and beverage specials. Souvenir merchandise as well. Come watch the Basset Hound races in between the Thoroughbred races, which benefit, by the way, the Tri-State Basset Hound Rescue. So enjoy all the thrill of live Thoroughbred racing and watch the Belmont Stakes on the big screen at Parks Racing. First post, 12:05. It's all from the Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association and Parks Racing in Bensalem. Street Road exit right off 95 and the PA Turnpike. So come for a day of family fun tomorrow at the track. Parks Racing, gates open 10 o'clock in the morning. Must be 18 to wager at Parks Racing and must be 21 to gamble at Parks Casino. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Calling up Blackwood to follow 1210 WPHT on the free Odyssey app. Download it now.
It is Kayal and Company, 7:36 Friday morning here on Talk Radio 1210 WPHT. Nick Kayal, Dawn Stensland, Greg Stocker, Daniel Valdez, Anthony Dorenzo. What's on the cut sheet coming up at 7:45? 855-839-1210. Twitter and Instagram at 1210 WPHT. Let's grab some calls. We go to Rufus in Toms River. Rufus, what's going on this morning?
Hey, Cal, listen, I don't want to call everybody a bunch of cowards, but I got to tell you, what do the Democrats do with the dog-eat-dog? They fight like a gang of dogs because they're a bunch of filthy animals. All their policies are disgusting, including what's going on Instagram. We need to fight like a pack of dogs. All of them need to be pressured to cave in to the greatest president of our lifetime, Donald Trump, and put him back in the White House where he belongs. We need to fight like a pack of dogs, just like the Democrats do, because they're all filthy animals, every single policy they have.
Let me give you a prime example, to your point, Rufus, of when Republicans and conservatives really rally and say, you know what, enough is enough, we can have success. You know what the prime example of that would be? And it's on a much lower scale. It's against corporate America with this example I'm about to make, and it's 2 words. It's Bud Light. You see the power of Republicans? You see the power of conservatives with what they've done to Bud Light for 3 months now? Now take that and apply that in a different setting, but really under the same, general umbrella here, pushing back against the left. And however that might be, social media, messaging, policy, candidates, not just laying down, not going quietly, whatever that might include, and beat them at their own game. And actually, this is a perfect opportunity to bring up what we talked about in yesterday's Big Take. I gave you those stats yesterday about how millennials, now more than ever, are shifting right. Go out there and get every one of them, because I am exactly that demo. Millennials were born between 1981 and 1996. I was born in 84. I've been a Republican now for 8 years, and I go further right over, year over year for the last 6 to 8 years. Millennials are there for the taking for the Republican Party. Gen Z, you're getting destroyed in. 2022 midterms, 77% of Gen Z voters voted Democrat. Can't ignore Gen Z. You got to try to, chip away at that like you have with millennials. But there's so many opportunities out there right now for Republicans. And, we can sit here and talk about how terrible the Democrats' policies are. Absolutely. We could talk about how they are dinosaurs. Absolutely. Dianne Feinstein, 89. Joe Biden, 81. John Fetterman, essentially an empty suit or an empty hooded sweatshirt. And you can sit there and tout your accomplishments under Trump, but there's something missing here. There's something that's preventing Republicans from having the success that they should be having. It's about identifying that and figuring it out and not making the same mistakes over and over again. Whether that's with social media messaging. I mean, say what you want about the Democrats, but the social media is on point. You don't have to agree with the message, but the tactics are very hard to overcome, in large part because it's a numbers game. Social media skews hard left. Mainstream media, hard left. Outlets for conservatives, free speech, and Republicans outnumbered 7-1, 8-1. But Rufus makes a great point. I mean, how much more of it can Republicans take? We look at the front page today of the New York Post. I mean, this is in a nutshell. Hail to the thieves. The front page of the New York Post. Trump indicted for taking classified documents. They put that graphic in red, and there's Trump standing on the left. And then on the right, you have a picture of Joe Biden looking clueless like he always is. And it says, Ukrainian businessman. I bribed Biden for $10 million. And that's shaded in blue. There's the front page of the New York Post. I mean, think about that. We talk about this two-tiered justice system, right? All these Democrats, all these elitists on the left, never indicted, never charged. Mainstream media shoves it right to the back burner. You take Trump, you take it now, 2 indictments, one in Manhattan, one in Miami, and there's your two-tiered justice system. All because one guy has an R, the other guy has a D. One guy was president and had the right to take documents and declassify them. Another guy was taking documents as the vice president. Another guy was taking documents before he was vice president when he was just in the swamp. And he's got them in think tank centers. He's got them in Chinatown. He's got them in his garage. He's got them in his Corvette, his beach house, his Wilmington home. He's got 1,850 boxes of classified documents. And he can't even account for half of them, probably. He probably doesn't even remember that he took them. And that's Joe Biden. There you go. 855-839-1210 is the phone number.
Rufus evoked the scene in The Game of Thrones when he said death by dogs.
Yes, he did.
Remember that with Ramsay Bolton?
Uh-huh.
But he was eaten by his own hounds.
Right. My brother-in-law's old dog was named Rufus, by the way.
Oh.
Yeah, he's a brown lab. Poor guy. He got hip issues and he died.
Oh.
Yeah. He was like Joe Biden in his final days. He was falling up steps, falling down steps, banging his head, the whole bit. So we will get to the cut sheet in about 3 or 4 minutes. But I do want to pay off this story because I think this is an issue. I told you I'm not scared of artificial intelligence from the standpoint of robots and computers rising up and killing humans. I did say the first thing that really concerned me about artificial intelligence was the fact that the Biden administration dubbed Kamala Harris to tackle the issue head on, just like she did the border. She goes from being the border czar to the artificial intelligence czar, and that's a real concern of mine. But this is the kind of thing that bothers me about, not so much about politics, but the dissemination of information and trying to articulate and sift through the crap to find out what's real and what's not. We already have social media littered with misinformation and disinformation. Yeah, you have your fact checkers, and now Elon Musk is, he's implemented the community notes feature on Twitter where when people put stuff out there that's either a lie or out of context, users can add community notes for fact and context, and a lot of that gets verified, and then you have a better idea of what you're really looking and trying to digest. But Trump supporters, rightfully so, crying foul after Ron DeSantis' campaign used what appeared to be AI-generated or otherwise doctored images of Donald Trump embracing Dr. Anthony Fauci in what perhaps is the most significant skirmish yet over the rapidly expanding use of manufactured images in 2024. Quote, smearing Donald Trump with fake AI images is completely unacceptable, said Senator J.D. Vance, Republican from Ohio, who has endorsed Trump. He tweeted saying, quote, I'm not sharing them, but we're in a new era. Be even more skeptical of what you see on the internet. Totally agree. Now, the DeSantis campaign has not denied that the images are fake, but did not respond to Semaphore when asked whether they were generated by AI or produced by other means. See, this is kind of the thing where, and there were some other images going around yesterday, and these were obviously completely fake, and it was kind of funny. Somebody made a picture of Trump and Fauci sitting on the beach together, building a sandcastle in their suits. Absolutely hysterical just watching that. But obviously that's not what we're talking about here. This is kind of the danger of social media meeting artificial intelligence in a field such as politics, where a lot of it is unfiltered. I don't know if unregulated is the right word, but people, especially, the younger demographic today, they get their news from social media. Whether you like it or not, whether it's good and valid or not. And in this day and age of misinformation and disinformation, it will be very difficult for you to arrive at a conclusion when you have the abilities of people using social media, taking artificial intelligence, manipulating things out of context. And it works for both sides. It works for the Democrats. It works for the Republicans. Both can use it to their advantage. Both will be at a disadvantage with it at times. But I've been of the belief now for a handful of years that with this influx of technology into the political arena, it creates a lot of confusion. And I think that's what they all want. They want, and I'm just saying they as in the establishment, politicians, the swamp, they don't want you to know what's real, what's not. Is keep people in a constant state of distraction and confusion while all the other nonsense goes on and you don't even pick up on it. So I think this is an interesting story. You can read this one online at semaphore.com, but it's titled DeSantis Campaign Shares Fake Trump Fauci Images, Prompting New AI Fears. And I think a lot of people are going to use that for their advantage and manipulate a lot of people. So figured we would share that. 7:46 Friday morning. Auto, we got a good one for you. It's time for What's on the Cut Sheet.
What's on the cut sheet?
What's on the cut sheet on this Friday is brought to you by our good friends at Cherry Hill Volvo, where they have ample inventory of brand new and beautiful pre-owned Volvos. Enjoy the luxury experience you deserve. They always go the extra mile for their customers because relationships matter at Cherry Hill Volvo. Cherry Hill Volvo, check them out on Route 70 in Cherry Hill. Thank you, Cherry Hill Volvo, for sponsoring the Friday edition of What is on the Cut Sheet. I'm going to start, boys, with the Trump clip. I think we played some of it, or Nick played some of it in the Big Take. After the news yesterday of the Trump indictment came down, Trump took to, I guess this was Truth Social he did this on?
Yes, sir.
Where he posted about a 3 or 4 minute clip saying that he was innocent.
Very sadly, we're a nation in decline, and yet they go after a popular president, a president that got more votes than any sitting president in the history of our country, by far, and did much better the second time in the election than the first. And they go after him on a boxes hoax, just like the Russia hoax and all of the others. It's just been going on for 7 years. They can't stop because it's election interference at the highest level. There's never been anything like what's happened. I'm an innocent man. I'm an innocent person. They had the Mueller hoax, the Mueller report, and that came out. No collusion after 2.5 years. That was set up by Hillary Clinton and Democrats. But this is what they do. This is what they do so well. If they would devote their energies to honesty and integrity, it would be a lot better for our country. They could do a lot better. They could do a lot of great things. But when you look at what's happened to our country in the last 3 years, we were energy independent. We had a strong military that wasn't woke. We were doing so well. We were respected all over the world. Got the biggest tax cuts in history, biggest regulation cuts in history. And what do? You have a president where an election was taken, got more votes than any sitting president in history by far, never anything even close. And they come after me because now we're leading in the polls again by a lot, against Biden and against the Republicans by a lot. But we're leading against Biden by a lot, a tremendous amount.
All right, I'll stop it there.
So, two things. One, I want to comment on a word he used, and the word he used was energy. I got to give that guy a lot of credit at 76 or 77 years old. I mean, he's got an unbelievable amount of fight in him. I don't know how many people could be hacked at as many times and in as many different ways as he has been, and still kind of just, they knock him down, he gets back up. He's down for the 9th time, he's back up on 10. It really is remarkable. But the other part that's remarkable is all the other stuff, the Mueller report, this report, that hoax, this collusion, all of the stuff that's been debunked that even the mainstream media has had to come forward with, and CNN and the New York Times and the Washington Post. Yet there's just people out there that are so blind to it, and you could tell them that. And they don't care. It's either they don't understand it, they don't want to hear your argument, they don't care about the facts. They just look at him and they hear him and they say, I hate that guy. That's it.
By the way, if you're watching along on YouTube, what's the photo behind him? Do you guys know?
Behind Trump? I don't know. I didn't even see a video that we rolled on YouTube.
Daniel, if you could, can you put that photo back up on YouTube? There's like looks like a historic photo that's behind him right there. Do you guys see that?
Oh, yeah. It's like a painting.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Sorry, these are the things I noticed.
Yeah. It's like something from 17 or 1800.
Yeah.
By the way, when he does these videos, do you think he's like wearing golf shorts like below
Absolutely
the jacket?
not. No. He's not. Ron DeSantis, Tucker Carlson, maybe.
Yeah.
Not Donald Trump. So Chris Cuomo last night on News Nation. The reason I pulled this is I find this interesting. He had Matt Taibbi on. Neither one of them are fans of Trump. And they both say that. But they both slammed the Trump indictment, and they call it reminiscent of a third world country, which I think is interesting. We talk about how this plays with, this definitely infuriates the base, but how does it play to other people?
Yeah.
Maybe this is a good example. Chris Cuomo and Matt Taibbi from last night.
So these concerns, everybody loves conspiracies these days. I'm not so sure that these investigations aren't done in a way that winds up intentionally or unintentionally helping the former president, to be honest, because every time there's a swing, it seems to expose the fact that they go after him with what seems to be at or below a level of anything that would be impressive to people reviewing the documents. What's your take on this?
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, I'm obviously not a fan of Donald Trump. I wrote a book about the guy called Insane Clown President. But, my feeling is if you're going to take the very extreme step of indicting somebody who's the likely nominee of the opposition party, the charge has to meet two tests. It has to be extremely serious, and it has to be an airtight case. And I think both of these cases fail on both of those points.
Yeah, a buddy of mine who's a very smart guy and a lawyer, but, just a kind of consumer of all things relevant like yourself. He was like, hey, I don't care that it's during the election. The fact that you're running shouldn't shield you. Maybe he's running because he knows it's his best defense on these things. Maybe, but I think that to the majority, the optics are terrible. If you're swinging at somebody during an election and you don't have what we deem the goods. Now, what does that look like in this case? Do you think it comes down to, well, what are the documents he was keeping?
Well, again, I think if you are a person who grew up in a third world country, you would recognize this kind of thing as something that happens in a not entirely free society. So the optics of this are terrible. There's no way around it.
Yeah.
So a couple of things on that. Is Cuomo really trying to argue that Trump is running because that's his best defense against these charges? That doesn't change the evidence or the strength of a case, whether he's running or not. Like I've said in the Big Take this morning, the only reason these indictments are happening is because he is running. We've already been told that the evidence in these two are absolutely weak compared to what they have in the Georgia case, apparently. So that's the first takeaway. And then the second one with Taibbi, I love the fact that he's talking about, Matt Taibbi is a guy that is not a Trump fan. He's a free speech advocate. So you've got Trump supporters that don't like him, and then you've got left-wingers that hate him because he, did the Twitter files with Elon Musk. So I think Taibbi's pretty accurate right there. They're both kind of garbage cases, and they don't really meet the threshold. Usually the feds don't come after you unless it's a guaranteed lock. When the feds come for you, they've got you.
Well, let me ask you then this question: If Jack Smith brings this case, which he did, don't you think he has something, or do you think it's not?
Yeah, of course he has. He's got something. My thing is
okay, but don't you think he's going to bring it if it's not a slam dunk case?
But this is,
no,
I have to separate.
He doesn't have to.
But I have to separate Jack Smith from other prosecutors here. This is a Biden-led Department of Justice. Your average prosecutor that's not being backed by the president and the administration is different. So for me, when we talk about coming after Trump like this, it's like, my whole thing is I'm not going to sit there. If Donald Trump does something wrong and breaks the law, he should be dealt with. I'm consistent with the law and order thing. I don't care who you are, whether I like you or not. All I ask for is consistency. Consistency in the application of the law. So if Trump did something wrong and Biden did something wrong, then get rid of both of them. That's fine by me. That's fine. Then my boy DeSantis slides in. How about that?
Listen to you.
No, I'm just saying, but really, let's be fair about it. If, the reality is Democrats just get away with murder. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, the problem with this whole case, and that's why Turley said the obstruction charge, because the issue with these classified documents is that it's as it's spelled out, and you're going back to the Constitution, is that in truth, the President of the United States has great discretion in declassifying that document. So that's why the other charges, and we don't even know what the exact at least seven charges are. Mm-hmm. But we believe, we're being told that there's this obstruction, which was after the fact. It's basically saying, you said that you didn't have any more documents. It's basically the charge of lying to the FBI, like with Martha Stewart. They can't get him on anything else. But that's basically how I look at that.
Doesn't it almost feel, though, like it's not so much about the documents you have or you don't have or what you did with them or whether you had the right to them or what was classified or not, but it's almost like, hey, you jerked us around, and that's why we came after you. And that's like, I feel like that's what the media and the left is trying to say. Well, here's the difference. Joe has complied, whereas Donald Trump has raised a stink about it.
But Joe didn't comply.
I know he didn't. Of course he didn't.
Well, I just think this is truly all political.
Of course.
And of course it is. There's no question.
And it's a witch hunt. And
Joe's got boxes in a garage that's not protected. At least Donald Trump, who was president when he took these items, you can't get Mar-a-Lago is like a fortress and they have permanent, agents protecting that place. Yeah. So it's like apples to oranges as to the volume of stuff taken, the rights and privilege to take stuff versus not, and somebody that was president versus somebody that was vice president.
I think,
and a then senator who took something from a skiff, which is even that has raised more eyebrows than anything.
Joe's been taking stuff home with him since the 70s.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
I don't think we have to say allegedly. I think he said that.
Yeah.
I think he said that in
That's
an
true, he did.
Yeah, that's true.
He
yes.
said that in an interview that he's
right.
been taking stuff home since 1974. So, well, two things on that. Allegedly they have this Jack Smith and they have this. There's a video recording that somebody from the Trump camp gave to the prosecutor about showing some of Trump's people at Mar-a-Lago moving boxes after they knew that they were trying to get stuff back.
Right, but how do you prove what was in the boxes? It could have been his shoes. Could have been Melania's closet. You know what I mean? There's no evidence here, and that's all of this stuff will be thrown out of court. This is ridiculous.
Oh, well,
It's ridiculous. It really is.
Forget the law for a moment and evidence. I mean, you talk about loyalty, right? Trump's a big loyalty guy. How does that video, that surveillance, leave Mar-a-Lago and end up in the hands of somebody from the DOJ? Right? Because it's got to come from the Trump camp, right? Nobody has access to Trump's surveillance other than people at Mar-a-Lago. The government doesn't have access to
I don't know.
There was a subpoena, right?
I thought that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't somebody's iPhone. It was.
No, it was.
I think they subpoenaed the security. Videos.
Okay.
So that's what's going to come into question is that he's going to say, I gave everything away, or I gave everything back to you, and then, oh, look, here's video evidence that you didn't actually.
Yeah, but again, what are they going to show? A video of people moving boxes.
I'm not. Look, you're
Okay.
missing. I'm telling you what they're going to say. I'm not saying if I agree with it one way or another. All I'm saying is that's the defense. My bigger question is that will this result in anything?
No.
And it won't.
The best part of all of this is we'll do shows on this for forever, and then it'll still be Donald Trump versus Joe Biden in 2024.
No, they do. This is what they do. Go back. Look, this is not just Trump. I mean, we can go back to locally in Delaware County, Congressman Curt Weldon. Look at what happened to him. Powerful Republican in this area. And remember, he had vowed that he would hold hearings and special oversight type hearings on 9/11 and what happened and what the feds knew and et cetera. All of a sudden, the FBI is raiding his home, devastated the life of his daughter, and there was a huge investigation, and he loses that election. It was shocking. And by the way, that was when you look at Delco and how it started to turn blue. Look at what happened with regards to Weldon leaving and so on and so forth. After the election, he loses. He's embattled for years. His daughter's life, they wear him down. What happened? You know what happened? That probe diminished and vanished like the smoke from the Canadian fires, okay? Curt Weldon, his daughter, it was a big nothing burger. This is what they do.
They're not going to wear Trump down, though.
Well, they don't realize that.
That was my original point.
That's a big difference.
His energy level's unbelievable.
Yeah, he's not going to wave the white flag on any of these things.
But Greg, they've never experienced anybody like him before. That was Nick's point earlier when he said, I think that they can't believe it. That he's still he pushes back.
Yeah.
And I also think they can't believe the tenacity of Trump's loyal followers. I think that they think, wow, he's got this loyal following, and they can't believe it. They've never seen anything like it, to your point.
Last night, also on News Nation, they had Chris Cuomo had Alan Dershowitz and Renato Mariotti, two lawyers on. These two lawyers sparred over Trump jerking around the DOJ, basically saying that jerking around the DOJ, which is why I was talking about what I was talking about how he said I gave away all of the classified documents when it found out that he wasn't. Dershowitz argues that jerking around the DOJ is not a crime.
Nope.
I have to say, I just think those recent comments were silly. I don't take them seriously. I think the Attorney General for President Trump, Bill Barr, put it best when he said that Trump jerked around the Justice Department. The reality is, if one of my clients had classified documents in his office or his home, he would not get an engraved invitation from the Justice Department to return him like Trump did. He wouldn't get a letter. He wouldn't get a visit, a personal visit. He wouldn't get a request. He wouldn't get a subpoena. They would have searched his home on day one, taken documents. The fact is he was treated with kid gloves. In Barr's words, and I agree with him, he jerked around the Justice Department, and this is the result. Now, we'll see what happens. He's in Florida. I agree. I think this will happen after the election. I also agree with Professor Dershowitz. Let's wait and see what the indictment says. But based on what we know publicly, anyone who claims that they're surprised that there's an indictment here is not being honest.
Well, but jerking around the Justice Department is not a crime. Jerking around the Justice Department is a tactical decision. Lawyers make it all the time. I sometimes cooperate with prosecutors if I think that benefits my client. Sometimes I do everything in my power to prevent the prosecution from getting my client. Plead the fifth, plead the fourth, plead the sixth.
Yeah,
that's not
I do the same,
what
Professor.
Constitutes a crime.
I do the same.
Jerking
But
around the
not when my
Justice
client
Department may not be a nice thing to do, but it's not a crime.
That they're offered the chance to return. That's the difference. If my client has meth in his trunk and the government's like, look, we'll give him a pass, just give us the meth back. That's a great deal.
Crime. That's not a crime. That may be the wrong
crime
decision
is
for the lawyers to make,
in this case,
but not
possession of top
cooperating.
secret documents. That's the crime.
All right,
willful
fellas,
retention of top secret documents.
Fellas, let's leave it to when it happens.
Look, I mean, I think Dershowitz makes a great point. One of the greatest legal minds of all time. You know, Alan Dershowitz from the OJ case, the whole bit. This is a guy who's sitting here saying, look, there are legal tactics, there are strategies, there's ways you go about this. And, oh, by the way, it might not be moral, it might not be ethical, but it doesn't violate anything legally. And I do think, and I just said this before you introduced this clip, I think they're butthurt because Donald Trump makes them look like an idiot sometimes. And he posts and he puts his videos out and, you know, he does his song and dance. And they hate the fact that this guy, you know, even in the face of charges and crimes and going to jail, like Trump's a showman and he puts on a production. If you're going to come for him, you better be ready for all the smoke and mirrors, all the glitz and the glamour, all the dodging, the ducking, the dipping and the diving, the whole bit. So you better be ready because, to my point earlier, the guy is a fighter, and you better have your energy level up because he's not going quietly into the night, whether you like it or not, or whether he's wrong or not.
Moving on to cut 14 here, Daniel. Byron York was a guest on Laura Ingram's show last night, and the political implications of this. What will we discussed this a lot in the first hour of the show this morning about what the other GOP nominees do. We joked around that they'll make strongly worded statements, but none of them will actually do anything. This was Byron York's take on what the GOP nominees will do.
And speaking of the former Trump Chief of Staff, Mark Meadows, he testified to the grand jury in this special counsel investigation of President Trump. And did he mention anything about concerns, Byron, of former staffers, including high-placed staffers like Meadows, having the screws turned on them before they went into the grand jury?
No, we don't know about that, and we do think that one of the charges in the indictment is conspiracy, which involves more than one person. Trump did point out that after the Manhattan indictment, which a lot of people who were not even Trump supporters thought was very, very weak, that his poll numbers went up. And one interesting thing, you just pointed out what Governor DeSantis said about this. The Republican candidates in the presidential race have a bit of a conflict of interest here. I think most of them believe, as do their voters, that Trump has been unfairly targeted since 2016. On the other hand, they're looking at a case in which Trump is leading the field by so far that they think something spectacular has to happen to cut into that lead. And frankly, some of them were thinking that perhaps an indictment might do that. On the other hand, this indictment might have the same effect that the Manhattan indictment did, which was increase Trump's support.
Yeah, let me respond to the responses of, you know, how this country will respond to Trump being indicted. It's not look, these other Republicans, they're the gap as they look up at Donald Trump, it's not going to shrink from the second indictment, it's going to widen. If DeSantis is down 30, now that this indictment is out, DeSantis will be down 40. If Ramaswamy was down 58, he's now down 68. This isn't going to shrink the margin. This only separates Trump further from the pack on the Republican side.
I agree with you on all of that. This is just going to make Trump stronger in the primary. My question for both of you is how does this play in the general? I don't think well.
I've already told you. I don't think he can win, sad as it is.
I think look, to be honest with you, I think it comes down to because nobody, the majority of people, and we've seen the polls, are not excited about a Trump v. Biden rematch. So I think it just comes down to which one of them can turn out the base more. And if you look at that, I definitely think that's Trump.
And yeah, well, of course. I mean, think about it this way.
Or will Biden's base, because nobody's excited to vote for Joe Biden.
No.
Will they just vote to make sure Trump doesn't get in office?
Because Biden's base can't sit there and vote and say, yeah, I'm voting on Joe again because he's done a great job. I'm voting on Joe again because I hate Donald Trump.
Yeah.
That's the difference.
I think that if Republicans, if Trump can come out and repeatedly say, I'll be fine. This is not about me. These charges are bogus. This is another witch hunt. This is about fixing the economy. This is about ending the conflict with regards to Ukraine and Russia. This is about securing the border. This is about stopping the opioid deaths and the opioid crisis, and so on, human trafficking, et cetera, et cetera. It's about the economy. It's about energy costs. It's about getting America back on track, bringing the jobs back. If he can do that and make it not about the baggage of the past, make it not about himself, and get to the heart of the issues and tap into that, then I feel Donald Trump absolutely can win. I believe that. But he has to separate it out. And I think that they, meaning the Democrats and the Biden DOJ, this is a focus to make it so that he constantly talks about himself, the past baggage, and the current law, the current case being wagered against him.
Well, last night he was talking on his video on Truth Social. He was talking in the third person. I don't know if you guys picked up on that. I mean, it was really interesting. And look, policy-wise, execution, he dances circles around Joe. But there's and the reason why I say he can't win is there's so many institutions that are just against the guy. Well, I told you, like in the big take, first it was the media in 2016. Then in 2020, it's Facebook and big tech censoring the Hunter Biden laptop story. Now it's the court system. I mean, could you imagine if there was no limit on the amount of times you could run and be president? What would be the next institution that tries to shut him down in 2028? It's a stacked deck against the guy. It's not about whether he's better. We all know he's better, but it's the system. He can't. It's hard. You're seeing it. They just hack away every day.
Listen to what you're saying and think about in America for a candidate to tap into exactly what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? We have millions of immigrants who've come into this country.
Yep.
From 100 different countries. Tap into them as well.
And to your point, the Hispanic community typically leans conservative and is in the Republican wheelhouse.
Yeah.
We're broadcasting live right now on YouTube, youtube.com/@1210WPHT. If you're watching right now, hit the like button. There's a bunch of you watching and only 67 likes, so hit the like button, please, right now. Heaven01, Nick and Dawn say Trump can win primary but not general election. Too many liberal attitudes, and the abortion issue is key. Republican women will not vote for banning abortion. Look, I'm not naive enough to say Trump can't win, because we've seen him win. So I am not naive to say absolutely dead to rights. If he runs against Biden or if he's the nominee in 2024, he will not win. But I do think that it is going to be more difficult for him.
Well, of course.
Well, yeah.
I mean, look at what they're throwing at him. They're threatening to put this man, think about it. This is never in our history.
Mm-hmm.
They're threatening a former United States president and current leading GOP 2024 presidential candidate, threatening to throw him in jail for 20 years on that would be one of those charges.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that.
Yep.
That's what they're throwing at this guy because that's how much they don't want him to be back in the White House.
Daily Mail says 100 years if he's convicted of federal charges,
all of them.
including espionage, classified documents.
I wouldn't worry or panic over those numbers. Oh my God, 20 years. The guy's 76.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's,
well, 20 on just one of the 7 would be a life sentence.
There's zero chance he's going to do jail time.
I believe there's zero chance.
Yeah, he's not going away.
No.
He's not going
No, because
away.
it's all made up and bogus. They all know it. So it's all just, it's to take him down, wear him down, and to get everybody focusing on Trump, not Biden, not the issue.
Also, we haven't discussed the venue, too. I mean,
Florida.
This is being, Florida.
And
which
this
is
is
a very favorable.
Yeah.
I mean, this is not D.C., where 5% of the population of D.C. voted for Trump. Like, this is he carried Florida, both in 2016 and 2020. He's very popular in Florida. I guess this would be in Palm Beach County,
Yeah,
which is that's his backyard.
Well, remember when Alvin Bragg said that the indictments were coming, and then they don't. Obviously, they wait for the appearance, and then it's unsealed. So we have to see what evidence they have. We have to see when it's unsealed, the grand jury report, whether or not it's a big nothing burger, what they have. You know, what is the case before us?
Well, and also with this case in Florida, I mean, it's Trump country for sure. And then they're like, well, then obviously this indictment comes, and you should be worried because it's Trump's constituents. And I'm thinking, well, if this goes to a trial, I mean, good luck. Much like in New York, where it's hard to find a Trump supporter on that jury. It's going to be different. I mean, now the burden and the toughness and the challenge on the prosecution is making sure that you don't have Trump supporters on that jury, because you're doing this on his home turf.
Yeah, I think it would,
which is advantage the defense.
I think it would be harder for them to argue that this was not political, but we all know it was. But I think in their mind, in Jack Smith's mind, doing this in Florida, it's easier for them to say, well, see, it's not political because we're giving him equal ground.
Yeah, Alvin Bragg
fair
advantage
territory.
Left.
Not
Donald
New
Trump
York.
Advantage right now.
This is not New York City. This is not Washington, D.C. This is Palm Beach County in Florida.
But if you add them all up, all 4 of these, that could happen.
Yeah.
Next is D.C., and then Atlanta. I mean, 3 of the 4 are working against Trump from a venue standpoint.
Last night on CNN, they had 17 people around a round table. They love this.
Did Van Jones dust out a nice suit?
Van Jones.
Dana Bash was probably giddy.
It's almost like you knew where I was going
Oh,
here. Van
boy.
Jones. He says, look, this is the federal government coming after Donald Trump.
What I would say to everybody who's watching this, nobody has seen this indictment. We don't know what's in it.
That's true.
Republicans are jumping out there saying this is all about Joe Biden. Joe Biden has nothing to do with this as a special prosecutor. This is not a porn star thing. This isn't robbing the piggy bank of your charity. This is the federal government talking about possible espionage and a presidential candidate that has gamed this thing out to get away with it by running for office. If that's what's happening here, we should take this very, very seriously.
And now you understand why no one watches CNN. I mean, you can almost hear the joy in Van Jones's voice there, right?
Yep.
It's just an embarrassment. Chris Licht is probably like, man, I don't got to work with those losers anymore.
Can we have a little fun with a squad member?
Oh, I love the squad. Which one we got today? Bush, Cortez?
No, this is
Booker?
Representative Rashida Tlaib.
Oh, I love Tlaib.
She was in D.C. yesterday with other environmentalists to protest the Biden administration and the White House approval of the Mountain Valley Pipeline. And this was Rashida Tlaib taking the microphone and waking everybody up.
Time to say no more. Mountain Valley Pipeline should have never been part of the debt crisis deal. Ever! Ever! Let me tell you something. What the hell does a pipeline have to do with reducing the deficit? It's bullshit.
Uh-oh.
It's bullshit.
Uh-oh.
Bullshit.
Uh-oh.
I call bullshit.
You could tell there, by the way, she was trying to get the...
Really pisses me off.
There you go. It really, you could tell there she was trying to get the chant of BS going.
Yeah. I've always believed in the theory of the louder you get, the less enthused I am. So I don't like do the rah-rah thing. Like that doesn't really galvanize me.
Yeah.
But let's just don't forget, conservative moms, they're the extremists.
It was a low energy protest that she was trying to start with.
It's bullshit!
See, she's trying to.
Yeah.
I call bullshit!
We use that as a drop.
Don't tell me this is about the deficit. This is not about reducing. This is about making more money with the folks that literally profit off of pollution in our country, in this world. It's enough. It is. Corporate greed is a disease in our country, and you all are on the front lines in making sure we can stop it. It shouldn't be this hard.
Yeah.
To say we deserve clean water, we deserve communities that we can walk out with our kids and not worry about an asthma attack. We shouldn't sit there and wait and test and look at this and say this is normal.
Look at the anger. I'm watching this video again right now. All of her constituents masked up outside.
Well, I mean, there was bad air yesterday.
Right. So it's amazing how they listen to the science. So they'll listen to the CDC and the NIH and Fauci when they say, "Hey, don't leave your house for a month. Stay inside. Let's flatten the curve."
Yep.
And then you've got the health experts on TV saying, "Hey, if you don't need to be outside today because of the air quality, stay inside." What do? They put on masks that don't work and they sit outside for 2 hours.
I call bullshit.
Yeah, I do too. Losers. God, I loathe the squad. What a just a select group of angry, miserable bozos.
Speaking of angry bozos, Joe Biden spoke yesterday.
He's the ringleader of the bozos.
He said this gem. I'm starting with cut one here, Daniel. He said this gem when discussing the bribery charges against him.
You notice I have never once, not one single time, suggested to the Justice Department what they should do or not do relative to bringing a charge or not bringing a charge.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm honest.
He's honest.
You know,
he said he's honest.
I'm honest.
Yeah. Hey, Honest Joe.
That was so. He was talking about the Trump indictment. This is the cut about the FBI file and the bribery charges. The reporter says there's damning evidence in an FBI file that you sold out the country. Do you have a response? And this is Joe Biden's response. Cut 2 here.
The bribery allegation, Congresswoman Nancy Mace says there's damning evidence in the FBI file that you sold out the country. Do you have a response to the congressional Republicans?
Where's the money? I'm joking.
Mr. President,
It's a bunch of malarkey.
Mr. President, what do you...
It's a bunch of malarkey. But he did say, where's the money? So
Yes. Number one, I'm going to need "it's a bunch of malarkey" as a drop on my board of Joes. But more importantly, when he says, where's the money? Well, we know where the money is. We have shell accounts. We have bank deposits to, what is it, somewhere between 9 to 12, maybe 12 to 13 different Biden family members. Where's the money? It's all been fanned out to everybody that collected. That's where it went. That's been established weeks ago.
Once again, he struggles to say LGBTQ Americans.
As president, I was proud to end the ban on transgender troops in our military.
Can he get through a sentence without?
Can we actually do a Biden Trudeau LGBTQ plus slip up montage?
I'm sure we could.
Can we do a compare and contrast before we get out of here this morning?
Sure.
That'd be nice.
As president, I was proud to end the ban on transgender troops in our military, sign the Respect for Marriage Act, strengthen the civil rights protections for LGBT Americans, and advance LGBT human rights around the globe.
I feel like he left a few letters out there, guys.
I've got
an IA plus.
Yeah.
I've got an LG TV and an LG flip phone, and this guy. Oh boy, him and Trudeau.
What is the government going to do about the air quality? Because we know we need them to help us, right? They have an app.
Oh, okay. And what does that app help climate change, racism? Where are we going here?
No, you can see the air quality.
Oh.
He gives out the website. This is cut 7 here for the government to help us.
To keep up to date on the air quality in real time, go to the app that we provide. It's called airnow.gov. And check on one another. And by the way, what you'll get is something that looks like this with a calibrated piece that says when the air is clean and when the air is dangerous and hazardous. And it dictates
COVID all over again, guys.
Tell you the air quality in the neighborhood.
We need an app.
There's a lot of people that I would love to use to promote an app and the launching of a new app. Joe Biden is never going to be that guy. Number two, anything that ends in .gov, I'm out on. And number three, do I want a governmental app on my phone? No.
Another reason, another way for them to track us, right?
Yes.
Here, just install this app.
Right. Yeah. That's like, so I can't tell if the air quality is any good. So instead of opening up my back door and putting my head out and going, sniffing and smelling, no, I'm going to open up an app.
Well, I wouldn't use the sniffing and smelling test, Nick.
I like that.
I didn't smell smoke yesterday. I sat outside and got some sun.
I get you.
Because I'm a science guy.
I don't need, it was like all these apps that they released during COVID so you could find out what the threat level was in your county and what the threat level was and the vaccination rate was in your county.
This whole administration is about threat levels. You ever notice that?
Yeah.
Threats to democracy, threats to free speech, moms are terrorists, code red. They're like the panic. They're the panic administration.
Joe Biden also said that transgender kids are not somebody else's kids. They're all our kids.
Oh, here we go with this.
It's wrong that the violence and hate crimes targeting LGBTQ people is rising.
Can I get a stat on that? Can I get a stat where hate crimes amongst LGBTQ kids or whatever it is rising?
Yeah.
I would love to see that stat.
Yeah, it's interesting. You keep tracking all the big-time crime coverage of shootings and stuff like that. It seems like it's been the trans community lately. I haven't had many white supremacists doing things.
I would argue we are the most tolerant society in the world.
Correct.
In the world. You want to talk about LGBTQ hate crimes? Try going over to Saudi Arabia. Yeah. Try going to a Muslim country.
Yeah, ask Pfizer. Get on a corporate call with Pfizer and ask why their official Pfizer Twitter feed in Saudi Arabia doesn't have a pride theme to it.
Oh, it doesn't?
No.
Oh, I wonder why.
But in America, we've got every color under the Crayola Crown 64 branch. We've got red, we've got magenta, we've got yellow, we've got teal, we've got purple and turquoise.
Crayola Crown 64.
Yeah, remember the box of Crayola Crowns, the 64 box?
Of course.
Used to love that box. My grandmother used to work there.
Crayons?
Oh, at the Crayola factory?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Back when they had pensions and America was great.
Do you know anybody that says crowns?
Crayons.
Crowns.
Crowns. Might get some crowns on my bottom teeth soon.
Crowns.
Yeah, I know some people that say crowns. Anyway, Joe Biden continues.
Yes.
It's wrong that extreme officials are pushing hateful bills targeting transgender children, terrifying families, and criminalizing doctors.
Wait, hang on. I have to pause it here. Joseph Powell on YouTube, by the way, streaming live on YouTube. He says, sorry, it just happened. LGBTQs are on the orange level. Locally.
So they haven't gone to red yet.
What's the threat level?
Yes,
they're on the orange level.
Right. But
so far, Joseph Powell wins YouTube.
We could go red, code red, as soon as a few tweets come out that says boys are boys and girls are girls.
Yeah,
that'll elevate the threat level.
These are our kids. These are our neighbors. It's cruel and it's callous. Not somebody else's kids. They're all our kids. They're the kids, and our children are the kite strings that hold our national ambitions aloft. It matters a great deal how we treat everyone in this country.
It's just very disturbing. It's borderline creepy, and I know Joe's had many creepy moments where, like...
Speaking of sniffing and smelling.
Yeah. The whole concept of my kid is your kid, that doesn't jive with me. It never has. It never will.
Look, I understand what he's saying is that it's not just because your child isn't gay or LGBT whatever doesn't mean it's somebody else's kid. We get that. It's just the way he says it. It's the they're all our kids. Like, no, they're not all our kids.
The tone that this administration gives off is
you want to help me pay for them, Joe?
Yeah. You want to help me with my grocery bill this week?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, Lunchables are $5.79 a pop, Joe.
Yeah. College ain't cheap.
Yeah. By the way, Dan Borowski, big Lunchable fan, I found out this week. as an adult.
He's a giant kid.
That's fine.
Lunchables.
The turkey one's not bad. But no, the demeanor they give off, Kamala, Karine Jean-Pierre, it's this, hey, we are going to tell your child the way they should think. No, you're not, because we've eliminated critical thinking at the college level. You can no longer have debates. If you're not a left-winger, you're going to be censored. And at the lowest of levels, we are teaching them a lot of stuff that really is in the wheelhouse of the parent.
Yes.
Like, focus on, you stay in your lane, and as a parent, I'm in every lane because it's my kid. You get to be in one specific lane as a school teacher. As the mom and dad, and I know words like mom and dad are offensive to some people these days, but as mom and dad, every lane is my lane with the kid.
Well, that's Dawn, I think, brought this up yesterday. Like, our math skills and reading skills and writing skills so great and so on point that we have time to teach all this other nonsense.
Right.
Like, I'm not...
Let's get to where we need to be in the stuff that matters, that is actually like the baseline level of what your job description says.
Yeah.
And then you worry about that. That would be like us saying here at this station, like, our ratings are terrible, but why don't we have this? Let's create an app, and then let's do a YouTube channel. And the bosses come back and say, well, why don't you get your radio ratings before you worry about extra platforms, buddy? Right? Am I wrong here?
Yes. No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong.
Like,
it's the let me and my wife teach my son about sex, or he can learn it the way we all learned it in a back alley.
Yes. The birds and the bees.
I don't need some teacher telling. Yes, by the way, Sid is criticizing me on YouTube. He says, "What is it? Dress down Friday, Greg?" Yes, I have a T-shirt on.
I came real close to going T-shirt today.
Yeah.
First time ever.
It's fine. It's Friday.
I really thought about it.
It's a Friday in the summer. I'm allowed to wear a T-shirt. How dare you, Sid?
It was 4:28 in the morning, and I was like, should I wear a wrestling shirt today on Friday?
A wrestling shirt?
I was going to wear a wrestling shirt.
Boy, yeah, no.
We might need to do like wrestling shirt Wednesday on the show.
No, you're the only one that would wear one.
Why, you wouldn't?
I don't know.
We'll get you an NWO shirt from back in the day?
I know. What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with
you? I know. One more, and then we'll call this a cut sheet.
Call it a day.
Are you? And I know Dawn has no idea what OnlyFans is, but are you guys familiar with OnlyFans?
Of course.
Dawn, do you know what OnlyFans is?
Oh yeah, of course.
Yes. Those things that your boys definitely don't go to.
No, of course not.
The creator of OnlyFans was on with Piers Morgan yesterday. Piers Morgan Uncensored. Ellie Brooke.
Okay, the service is used primarily by sex workers who produce pornography, but it also hosts the work of other content creators like physical fitness experts and musicians.
Hey, once YouTube shuts us down, maybe we can go to OnlyFans.
It's a way. It's a way for pretty young girls to make a living these days.
That's right. Hunter Biden's got burner accounts on there.
Anyway, Piers asked her, "Hey, like, you're 25 or 26. Like, what are your kids gonna say about you being the creator of OnlyFans?" And this was her response.
I'm just curious about you being someone who embarked on a law career, was obviously very bright, went to university, packed it in just for money to be effectively an online stripper. I mean, that's what you do, right?
Yeah, way worse than an online stripper. But
what do you mean way worse?
Way worse. Online strippers just, naked. I do things that are way more grotesque than
Just
that.
pornography.
Pornography, anything, but it's all within what I want to do, and I absolutely love it, and I'm really good at it. I could be a good lawyer, yes, but also am I good at doing other things on video and camera?
How would you feel when you want to have kids yourself?
Well, I mean, I don't really want kids right now. But
You will do. How old are you?
25.
Right, so you will do at some stage, probably, right?
Maybe.
When you do, you're going to be proud that you have your little ones and they look at you and go, didn't you want to be a lawyer, Mummy? What happened?
Yeah.
And you go, yeah, but look at all my stuff.
They can cry in a Ferrari.
I love that.
That's what I'm going to tell my daughters. Daddy, didn't you want to be a lawyer? Yeah, but I got into talk radio. You can cry in my Honda Ridgeline, baby.
They can cry in a Ferrari.
Not bad workout of her. And by the way,
just saying.
Here's your defense. When she does have kids and it's 2043 and her kids say, Mommy, why were you on OnlyFans? You know what you say? It's because inflation was 8.2%. That's why I was on OnlyFans.
By the way, if you're watching right now or listening and you don't know what OnlyFans is, make sure your daughters are not on them.
That's right.
Yeah, first of all, Piers Morgan, there's something about him that's kind of creepy.
Yeah.
And the fact he just was looking for any excuse to interview a porno star. That's what she is.
Yeah.
That's all this is. It's pornography and it's normalizing porn.
It's a sin.
I'm not saying it's a sin. I'm just saying what it is. You can judge for yourself. She's in a little pink top with, you know what I mean? Like everything's hanging out on the set with him. He is thrilled.
I got to tell you, Dawn, normalizing porn. I mean, porn has been normalized for a long time. There's
not on a news anchor desk. She's like a co-host. She's like his co-anchor, and she has very dyed blonde hair.
Yeah, is he trying to be like cutting edge?
No, he's a creepy dude who wanted a. Come on, he wants a porno prostitute on set with him so he can look at her.
I remember 10 years ago when I was doing sports, and we had some advertisers that were gentlemen's clubs in this area, and they were like, "Yeah, do you want to have this performer on for a segment?" And I just looked at my I don't know if it was my main boss or an executive producer. I'm like, "No." I'm like, "Why?" He's like, "You don't want." I'm like, you think I haven't seen a hot chick before? I'm doing a radio show. This was before the video aspect.
Yeah.
This does nothing for my audience.
Yeah.
And this is not 1992 again with Howard Stern.
Yeah.
Like, that bit's over.
If we're going to talk about the lack of judgment of people who defy a curriculum and talk about gender and different genders or whatever in a classroom, I think I have to be equal and fair and call out Piers Morgan for finding an excuse of all the women he could interview.
Yeah.
Right? To bring a scantily clad, and she's wearing a shirt that some producer, somebody should have said, "Hey, you want to borrow my blazer?"
Yeah.
To cover up, because basically her breasts are hanging out of this little Heidi-ho little pink top.
Heidi-ho.
And it's just inappropriate, and it's sexualizing. It's really bringing, I mean, let's just bring the hookers on set, on an anchor set.
Is Piers Morgan in the business of getting ratings? What's going to get ratings? Because, there's two types of guys. There's guys that watch porn, and there's guys that lie about not watching porn.
Right.
Every guy watches porn.
Correct.
I hate to burst your bubble, Dawn. Every guy watches porn. So, like, you're tapping into the male psyche by doing that.
Fine, but Piers Morgan is allegedly a professional person, and they are on a Fox News anchor set. And they're okay. So that picture your local anchor team, and there's Piers, and it really solidifies that saying that every anchor team in America looks like somebody's third marriage.
Yep.
This would look like Piers' fifth marriage, and so
see Bubba45 on YouTube says put that clip back on, Greg. Notice our YouTube views when we put that clip on went through the roof.
Yeah, where's the freeze frame with Valdez when you need one?
Valdez freeze frame.
I can get a freeze frame of Chris Christie's pouch, but I can't get a freeze frame of Heidi Ho. So think about this. Coming up tonight on Piers Morgan, I have a panel list of 3 guests. We'll be joined by Elon Musk, Lindsey Graham, and Heidi Ho.
Oh, there we go. Look at that. Okay. Wow, look at that freeze frame. She is bursting out of her top.
She's bursting out of her little pink Heidi-ho top.
Nice placement
and
of the microphone.
Piers.
You see where the microphone's placed, too.
And good thing that the anchor set covers up his lower half, because God knows.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just come on, dude. Have some dignity. And of all the women that you could interview and talk about women and respect and dignity, he puts this one who's
that's not
paid...
Fox. That's Talk TV he's on right there. That was not a Fox show.
Oh, it's not?
Yeah.
But he works for Fox.
Well, yeah. But he's doing...
that was Piers Morgan Uncensored, which is a Fox Nation show.
Yeah.
I don't know. It says Talk TV on the
No,
screen.
maybe that's where we
didn't he get a memo from his brand manager saying, Piers, you represent this company at all times?
Listen. It, we'll do it live. Listen.
I just think he comes off as creepy, and
here's what Greg Stocker really thinks.
Can we stop getting our news from Twitter? Look, I'm just saying, it's an interesting story. This woman created this thing.
And that's what Piers, the creepy dude, who, and God bless him. If he wants to watch the Heidi Ho, what is it called again?
Heidi Ho.
I'm calling it the Heidi Ho app, which is probably somebody's going to steal that and make millions.
I know.
But if he wants Heidi Ho and to go on the app, fine. But to put it on Fox News and to put it on an anchor set and put her behind that set takes it to a whole new level.
I agree. I would have put her in front of the set. But that's just me.
She's a 25-year-old who's going to make she'll blow it all by the time she's 35. By the way, drug habit. I'm just saying,
She doesn't look like people on drugs have a horrible complexion. She has beautiful skin.
Well,
I don't think she's on drugs.
By the way, for legal purposes, I am not saying she is on drugs.
No.
I'm saying that, the trajectory of porn stars and people like that usually turns into, hey, I have a ton of money, let me do a bunch of blow.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
I mean, cocaine.
What a day. What a day. What a show.
Trump indictments and porn stars.
Indictments and Heidi Ho's.
But he's not. Here's the thing. He's not calling her a porn star. He's normalizing a sex worker app.
She's an
basically.
artist. She's an artist.
Right.
By the way, our biggest viewer count right now. Gee, I wonder why.
All right, it's time to change formats, folks.
It's almost like we know what we're doing.
Yeah.
Go to confession, everybody, if you're... No.
Kayal and Company, it's the show you didn't know you'd love until you thought about living without it.
Father, forgive me for looking at the Heidi Ho on what's his face? Piers Morgan's show.
All right, that'll do it for whatever we just did.
I don't know what we just did.
45.
I don't know what we just did.
All right.
We should actually break, and then maybe we'll do Dawn's Big Three at 9.
Oh, yeah?
Okay.
Because we're way over.
All right. Coming up next, a win for free speech, but also the Ivy League elitists that look down at free speech. The yin and the yang next on Kayal and Company.
It's the Big 3 at 8 on Kayal and Company.
Attention real estate investors. PK Capital Funding, in business for over 30 years, provides creative funding for fix and flips up to 100%. 1 to 4 family properties, foreign national construction, and more. Call today, 267-266-0797.
Attention business owners. PK Capital Funding provides business loans even with a 500 credit score for manufacturing, doctor's offices, restaurants, auto repair, builders, and more. Call today, 267-266-0797, 267-266-0797.
Win and save this baseball season from Colony Pools and Power Washing, a local company serving Delaware, Delco, and Chester County since 1970. Are you tired of looking at your greenhouse? Is your roof, siding, deck stained green from algae and mold? Let the experts pressure wash your home and take the pressure off of you. Win with Colony Pools and Power Washing. Call them now at 302-762-2250. That's 302-762-2250.
This is Larry Steinhaus of Investor Schooling. I am so proud to announce the continuing success of our students at Investor Schooling. You already know that at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing and stock options. Did you also know that we teach things about tax savings, estate planning, and business coaching as well? We teach things about money I bet you never knew. At Investor Schooling, we teach from the perspective of true experience. If you want to see what our students think about Investor Schooling, please check out the over 160 5-star Google reviews. To find out more about how you can change your financial life, go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday at 7 p.m. Attend that class and see for yourself what Investor Schooling is all about. Go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. We can't wait to see you this Thursday.
Let's face it, your company is still feeling the financial effects of the pandemic. And if you own a restaurant, dental practice, or other small business that persevered through lockdown, a quick phone call to Omega Accounting Solutions can be a game changer. Omega Accounting Solutions is an established, respected accounting firm, helping businesses like yours receive the ERC tax credit. Unlike CPAs and others who may not grasp all the complexities of the ERC, Omega's experts are fully trained to understand ERC qualifications and simplify the application process. Learn in less than 10 minutes if you are a good candidate. Call Omega even if you've applied for other pandemic assistance in the past. If your company employed 5 to 500 employees during the COVID crisis and continue to pay payroll taxes, you may be eligible to receive a refund of up to $26,000 per employee. Running a small business is challenging enough. Trust Omega Accounting Solutions to help claim the tax credits you deserve. Call now 1-800-300-9ERC or online at OmegaTaxCredits.com. 1-800-300-9372.
Joe Conklin and the City Rhythm Orchestra, Saturday, July 15th at the Ocean City Music Pier on the Boardwalk.
Love the orchestra. I love it.
Joe's great. He encapsulates a Philly sports fan.
Oh, I love the music. I especially like the old songs from Philly.
The impressions of different voices is fantastic.
Charlie Emanuel.
Of course, Merrill Reese.
It's fantastic.
It's a love letter to the Philadelphia sports fans.
See Joe Conklin with the City Rhythm Orchestra, Saturday, July 15th in New Jersey at the Ocean City Music Pier. For tickets, go to joeconklin.com. joeconklin.com!
When you need to know, depend on KYW News Radio 103.9 FM.
A pilot program of cameras mounted on SEPTA buses found thousands of cars illegally parked in bus lanes. A high school teacher in the Lower Merion School District is accused of soliciting nude photos of underage girls. Former President Donald Trump has been indicted on 7 charges of mishandling classified documents at his Mar-a-Lago estate.
Get the latest anytime on KYW News Radio. Now on Crystal Clear 103.9 FM.
You've never needed us more.
Tune in to Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturdays at 11 a.m. to hear Phil Cannella and Joanne Small. The Crash Proof Retirement Show, Saturday mornings at 11 on Talk Radio 1210.
Hey, we've got to talk about this weekend. The Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association and Parks Racing inviting you to a day of family fun this Saturday. Tomorrow at the track, Parks Racing. Gates open, 10 o'clock in the morning. The Basset Hounds are back. It's Barks at Parks. And, of course, Belmont Stakes Day. Enjoy a lot of family fun at the Parks Picnic Grove from noon to 5 tomorrow, featuring those pony rides, moon bounces, face painters. So much fun for the kids and for the fam. Plus, music by DJ Tonka, food, beverage specials, souvenir merch. Come watch the Basset Hound races in between the Thoroughbred races, which benefit the Tri-State Basset Hound Rescue. Enjoy all the thrill of live Thoroughbred racing, and then watch the Belmont Stakes right on the big screen at Parks Racing. First post 12:05. It's all from the Pennsylvania Thoroughbred Horsemen's Association and Parks Racing in Bensalem, in Bucks County, Street Road exit off 95 and the PA Turnpike. Just come for a day of family fun. 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. Parks Racing. Must be 18 to wager at Parks Racing, 21 to gamble at Parks Casino. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Rich Cioli this afternoon, 3 till 7. Kayal and Company now on Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and the free Odyssey app.
Kayal Company, 8:45, as we continue Friday morning. DOJ just indicted Trump again for waking up this morning. Good God. This segment brought to you by Discover Lancaster. Discover more of Lancaster. I scream, you scream. We all scream for ice cream. Head to the Turkey Hill Experience to enjoy samples and even make your own flavor in the Taste Lab. Just a 90-minute drive from Philadelphia. Visit discoverlancaster.com to plan your getaway. As we know, Joe Biden loves chocolate chip ice cream, so if that's your ice cream du jour, have at it, and do it with Lancaster and Turkey Hill. So Trump indictment coming down in the dinner time, evening hours last night, and this is a very ugly look. It's a bad day for politics in the United States of America. If you do not believe we have a two-tiered justice system, then I don't know what else we could actually throw out from an evidentiary standpoint to prove our point about how Democrats are treated one way in Washington, Republicans treated a different way. People want to use the term banana republic. I think that's applicable. And Trump is calling this the boxes hoax, which really goes to show you the level to which the Department of Justice under Joe Biden will go to eliminate their political opposition. You have Trump coming out saying this is election interference at the highest level.
He will obviously plead not guilty to his alleged retention of classified documents. Trump is listed in the indictment, which is not unsealed yet, by the way. So much like with the Alvin Bragg indictment, we want to see what's in that. Remember, Alvin Bragg was, I believe, 34 counts, and it was really nothing more than check number, indictment 1, check number, indictment 2. We'll see if it's as simplistic as that. Trump charged with at least 7 counts of obstruction of justice, conspiracy, and illegal retention of classified governmental material, and he's expected to appear on Tuesday in a Miami federal court. So those are kind of the nuts and bolts of it. Actually, Greg, if you don't mind, if we could have that Jonathan Turley clip that we used in the Big Take this morning,
Certainly.
I'd like to use that again here in a couple of minutes and let you hear, because from the legal standpoint, some people understand it. Some people get confused by it. Some people fall asleep from it. Turley at least breaks it down, I think, at a very easily digestible level. So we'll play you that coming up in just a moment. Trump went to Truth Social last night. He posted a video in his defense. It's a couple of minutes long. We gave you a good portion of that this morning, either in the cut sheet or in the Big Take. He also posted a few posts on Truth by typing out his thoughts as well. But my point earlier this morning was, and I've said this in the past, especially over the last couple of weeks, the many different ways in which this guy has been hacked at election after election. In 2016, it was the media, it was Hillary, it was Russia, it was CNN. Fast forward to 2020, it was the social media avenue, more of, hey, let's not air and run something from the New York Post on our platforms, Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, that is damning to Joe Biden and Hunter Biden. And now here we are, it's the court system.
Do you say Zuckerberg on purpose because it's hysterical? Okay.
I really should correct that because he's got like a black belt in jiu-jitsu or something.
Kick your ass.
And he'd probably flip me over this table right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Zuckerberg. But, you've got Bragg, you've got Garland. Next up will be Washington, D.C. Then we'll have Atlanta. So by the time we get to the fall, I mean, probably by September or October, I think there's a good chance he's going to be indicted 3 or 4 different ways.
Yeah, the Georgia thing is coming. I
Yes.
mean, Fani Willis or whatever her name is, like that is imminent. So 3 different indictments.
3. And that's before we even get to whether there's an indictment in D.C. for January 6th, which they would love to do that as well.
He's going to be, as long as they don't move that date in March, he's going to be in court because he has to show up for that court case. He's going to be in court while people are voting in the primaries.
Mm-hmm. And it's a good thing he's got energy and he doesn't sleep because he's going to need it.
It is. It's wild. It's wild.
I'm not a lawyer, but if I were his lawyer, I would look at some kind of an emergency injunction.
And they might.
Take it up to SCOTUS.
Yep.
Say this is election interference. This is a constitutional issue, and just trump, pun intended, all of these courts.
Yeah.
Let's, speaking of legalese and legal scholars, let's take a listen. Here was Jonathan Turley last night breaking this down on Fox News with Jesse Waters. Take a listen.
This has never happened before in the history of this country, has it?
No, it hasn't. And this is one first that I hope most people regret, even if you feel that it's warranted. It's surprising because Merrick Garland had a decision to make here, not just whether there was evidence to indict, but whether that served the interest of justice. So we have to see what's in this indictment. There are a couple of things that we'll be looking for. Obviously, the obstruction charge is the one that most of us have been talking about for months. That, to me, has always been the greatest threat to Donald Trump. But there's also the question of whether they'll charge possession of classified documents. That's going to put the Department of Justice in a tough position because if they charge possession, it's going to make it difficult not to charge Vice President Biden with the same crime. But if they don't charge him on that, some people may view it as an effort to avoid the necessity of a charge against the president. So this indictment, the details of this indictment are enormously important. But that obstruction charge comes with a big ticket sentencing provision. That's up to 20 years. But as with many of these cases, Jesse, it comes down to timing. they don't have a lot of runway before the presidential election. And the court's going to be in a tough position how to deal with this criminal case when you have the leading candidate for president who wants to be campaigning. Then there's the final issue here, which is going to get really wicked. And that is, Trump could run on pardoning himself. You know, for people that feel that this is bias, that this is part of a pattern, he could turn this on his opponents and actually run on his right to pardon himself. So if he's elected, even if he's convicted, he could pardon himself, or he can do so before a trial occurs.
Which goes to show you how much of a charade this really is, because he's got the pocket pardon in his back pocket. Like, he could pardon himself and basically be exonerated of whatever they find him guilty of doing. So if you think about it, and there's two things here. There's the possession charge and there's the obstruction charge. The possession charge is something I don't think the Biden DOJ will do, because if you're going to use the possession charge on Trump, then you have to use it on Joe. And they don't want to use it on Joe. So then they're probably just going to do the obstruction charge, which carries the bigger weight, 20 years. Again, he's not going to serve a day in jail, I don't think. But the whole point being, they don't want to take down Joe. So the possession thing is probably thrown out the window. But if you just look at the history of all of this, because precedent should matter. Bill Clinton took home classified documents. George Bush, Barack Obama, Mike Pence, Hillary Clinton, Joe Biden, Donald Trump. Trump's the only one that gets indicted. And you go down these lists of other people, and and I'm just talking about general categories here. Think about the war criminals in this country from Iraq, or the COVID criminals, or the inside traders in D.C. Nancy Pelosi started politics. She had a net worth of $3 million. When she was done with politics, her net worth was $200 million. And she's not in jail? Okay. Nope. That salary of $170,000 just all of a sudden became $200 million? Okay.
Gene on YouTube writes, Trump takes away the SCOTUS seat from Garland, and people think this isn't personal. Right? I mean, it's a very good point, because...
Oh, I think we can say it's all political, but I think in many regards, a lot of these are personal.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, politics is personal.
Oh, absolutely. You know, there's part of the old song and dance of, they go to battle and then they go have beers together. I think there are some that, have their disagreements and still get along and, are probably laughing their way to the bank. And then there's other ones I think they would like to kill each other. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, everybody always talks about, remember when Ronald Reagan and Tip O'Neill used to have, you hear all the people do, oh, what has our politics become? It's like, oh, stop it. That was yes, to your point, there are politicians on either sides of the aisle that get along and hang with one another and stuff like that. But politics has always been a blood sport. It's always been personal. It's just always been like that. So
But I think two things have made it different, at least from a perception standpoint. But I also think from a reality standpoint, too. Number one, insert Trump into this. Politics are certainly different post-Trump versus pre-Trump.
Yeah.
And then throw in social media. And social media can serve a lot of good purposes. But I think social media has made a lot of this, because before, and this is more of a media topic, or really a consumer topic, before social media, you got your news when you got your news, right? Or you read the newspaper. Now social media, there's no prime day part on social media. There's no live show versus recorded show, or there's no morning edition of the paper. Social media is nonstop.
Yep.
24/7, 365, it never stops. And that's why, you take social media and you apply it to news, politics, sports, whatever it is, and it becomes that genre on steroids.
By the way, if you're watching on YouTube, Nick, you just showed everybody your screensaver. So
it's a good thing it's just a picture of me and my wife.
Okay. Just me. Hassan Bin Sober on Twitter says, OnlyFans is also for musicians. Thanks for giving me that loophole to justify to my wife to sign up. Holy crap! Sorry.
And for personal training. Personal training. Your best workout. So you can be your best self out there ever.
People who are tuning in at 8:56 in the morning, they're like, they went from Trump to OnlyFans? What is happening? You had to have been tuned in from 8:30 to about 8:40 this morning to understand.
It pays to listen.
It does.
All right, 855-839-1210 is the phone number. Coming up next, some free speech victories. I just got so many stories that we're not even going to be able to get to all of this today, but some of this we'll save coming out of the weekend. But free speech. Also, one radio host who went to battle with his employer over the COVID vaccine shot. We've got a story about that. An update on Jamie Foxx, as well as the Squad.
Wow.
The Squad says if you're anti-woke, it means you're anti-black.
We're going to get all... We're going to get to all of that in the 9 o'clock hour?
Sid Weiss, trust me, we will not get to all of it. You are correct.
No, we had, because you just teased a bunch of great things.
I did.
Plus, by the way, at 9:45, I have proof, or at least CBS proof, that aliens exist.
Oh, okay. All right.
A news report. A CBS news report.
It's almost like they said, you know what? There's too many people thinking about the Canada smoke. Let's throw a side stink bomb with aliens to distract the simpletons.
Yeah. You know what? The rest of the hour sucked. 9 o'clock is the hour to tune in.
That's right.
If you haven't,
I agree.
That's the gold hour.
Yes. 6, 7, and 8 o'clock. Just awful.
Throw them out.
Yeah.
Let's start them over again.
Don't write it. We'll do it live.
We'll do it live.
And it's Kayal and Company, and we're back after this.
It's the summer of Chevy, now at Hessert Chevrolet. Choose from the biggest inventory available in the Philly area. Drive the incredible 2024 Chevy Trax, starting at $21,495. We've got hundreds available and many ready to drive home today. Don't miss a minute of these sizzling hot deals. The summer of Chevy, right now at Hessert Chevrolet. Online at HessertChevy.com.
Your way or no way at Hessert Chevrolet.
2024 Trax MSRP $21,535. Exclusions may apply. Offer good while supplies last. See dealer for details.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-700-6898. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-700-6898. That's 800-700-6898. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-700-6898. 800-700-6898.
You can shed that fat and be slimmer for this summer. No more wearing cover-ups or T-shirts in the pool. NJ Diet will help you the natural way. There are no shots, no hormones, and no surgery. You will lose a contractually guaranteed 20 to 40 plus pounds in only 40 days with NJ Diet. Locations throughout the East Coast or available from home with live online video consultations. 855-5NJ-DIET or schedule your consult today at njdiet.com, njdiet.com.
Virtua Health is here for you, all of you. Here for the run-of-the-mills, the out-of-the-blues, here for everything in between. And with our Rowan University partnership, we're here, rethinking the way academic medicine feels. Welcome to a more convenient, smarter healthcare experience. And that's more good for everyone. Find a Virtua physician or location near you at virtua.org. Virtua Health, now more than ever, here for good.
Hi everyone, this is Stephanie Kelly from Emmons Roofing and Siding, and I have some exciting news to share. Emmons has partnered with SunPower, the top-rated home solar company in New Jersey. SunPower has been leading the solar industry for over 37 years and is the only U.S. solar company that's lasted longer than their 25-year warranty. Kill the bill, the energy bill that is. Imagine no more high energy bills, while all the while helping reduce your carbon footprint at no cost to you. It's a win-win. Yes, we now offer solar, but remember, if you need a new roof, siding, doors, windows, or interior remodeling, don't wait. Right now, Emmons is offering all 1210 listeners 10% off roofing, siding, and Anderson windows. And we are continuing to offer 12 months same as fast cash financing, and don't forget that lifetime warranty on your roof. Give us a call today for a free estimate at 856-885-6677, emmonsroofing.com. Roofing, siding, windows, doors, kitchens, baths, and solar. Trust Emmons to be your first and last stop for all your home improvement needs. emmonsroofing.com.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, Costco members have a $2,500 incentive on the purchase or lease of an electric Volvo. There is a $1,000 incentive on all gas and hybrid 2023 models. Explore this safe and versatile 2023 XC90 and take advantage of special financing, a rate of under 5%. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo for a full list of extraordinary offers for both new and previously owned Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit us now. We have the inventory and we have competitive offers.
What should I wear?
Should I take the highway or go through town?
Do I pick up the kids early today?
The average adult makes thousands of decisions a day. Most are small, but some could be life-changing. Before you get behind the wheel, impaired by drugs or alcohol, make the right decision. Decide to call a friend. Decide to call a cab. Decide to download a rideshare app. But don't decide to drive. For more information, visit PennDOT.gov/safety. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Hey, Ben Salem, tell your smart speaker play 1210 WPHT.
Kayal Company, as we continue, breaking news update. Donald Trump admits on tape that he did not declassify documents. That's the headline right now in studio here on Fox News as I have my TV on. They are doing a live report from Bedminster, New Jersey, and the scroll, the little ticker at the bottom, says breaking news, Trump admits on tape he did not declassify documents. Bill Hemmer and Dana Perino are talking about it. Not really sure the context of what I just told you because I can't hear the TV right now. But wanted to pass that along. Very interesting day. Interesting night last night. It'll be interesting throughout the weekend. And who knows, maybe even more fallout will come and we will discuss in further detail on Monday. Of course, on Tuesday, he will be in a federal court in Miami, Florida. With this indictment that came down. 7 charges as of now. Indictment not unsealed yet, so we don't know exactly what it entails, but I would imagine that'll happen fairly shortly.
Yeah, that tape thing is an old story. That was, and I think it was broken by CNN at some point, and he was at some speaking, he was speaking at some event where he mentioned, I had some, secret military information or military. But again, it doesn't prove anything.
Yeah.
He's yakking it up with a group and says something about some classified documents. It means nothing. It really means nothing.
The other thing that concerns me too, we talked about earlier the rise of artificial intelligence and how they can use it on social media. We've already shown you on this show how we can use artificial intelligence with audio. Let me just play you just 2 quick drops here.
Dawn, you better keep your mouth closed.
That's from Mike Opelka. That's Don Lemon.
Mm-hmm.
If we don't tell you that's artificially created, you would think that's real.
Yeah.
Or some people would.
Yeah, that's why we had to have the disclaimer. By the way, that's faux Don Lemon. It's not really Don Lemon.
It's Don Lemon.
Yeah.
So, I mean, think about where we could be heading with artificial intelligence from an audio standpoint. And if there's ever a guy that's going to be on the wrong end of artificial intelligence audio, it's probably going to be DJT. Not making a prediction, but that's just more of a, a random thought. I figured I'd throw that out.
True.
Anyway, so that's kind of where we're at. All right, I've got a handful of stories to get to, and I'm going to let Dawn and Greg pick. But before we get to all of that, because we're never going to get through all of it.
We're going to do dealer's choice?
We're going to
Really?
do dealer's choice.
Wow, okay.
Yes. So we'll do that, but right now it's Dawn's choice because it's Dawn's time, and it's time for Dawn Stenzel's Big 3 at 9.
It's the Big 3 at 9 on Kayal and Company.
Sponsored by Discover Lancaster, women hired as dog sitters by a former Temple University coach are now accusing him of spying on them, setting up cameras so that as they were dog sitting in his house, the cameras captured them naked as they showered and undressed. 6 women filing civil complaints against former Temple assistant football coach Antoine Smith. The lawsuit also names Temple University, and the civil lawsuit also names the dog walking app Rover. Smith had hired the women to watch his dogs either through that Rover app or through his position and his email at Temple, according to the suit, and paid the women through Venmo. So these hidden cameras were actually hidden in Bluetooth speakers, a digital alarm clock, AC adapters, a wall clock, and it alleges that they violated the women's privacy rights as well as violating the Wiretapping Act.
Wow.
Dun, dun, dun.
What a story.
Yeah. And so, not just filing it against the former coach who has since been fired, but as well against Temple University and as well against the dog walking app Rover.
Oh man.
So, civil suit.
Yeah.
I don't see how much money they want, but this was just filed, so I thought I would give you that. AI cameras mounted on SEPTA buses have been monitoring violators. Philadelphia officials say they discovered some 20,000 violations. What are we talking about here? AI-driven cameras mounted on 7 SEPTA buses. This is a pilot program monitoring bus lanes and bus stops along 2 Center City routes for illegally parked vehicles for more than a month. So they say they documented about 4,000 vehicles blocking the bus lanes, 4,000 per week, more than 20,000 in total. They remind everybody this is just a test, so no tickets or warnings just yet. But we see where they're going with this. So it appears that they've been testing this out, and ultimately they want to use these AI-style cameras to then, much like a red light camera, that it would be generated much like a red light camera, and you would get a ticket via the mail, and it would not involve a physical person or police officer or any kind of ticketing officer to physically put that on your window.
Yeah, Gen Z loves this, don't they? They love all their surveillance and cameras.
That's what that poll said, right?
Yeah, I know. That's why they're all for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, boy. Well, let's talk about things to do down the shore or things to do in Philadelphia, fun stuff. All types of bicycles will be allowed on the Ocean City, New Jersey boardwalk when seasonal bike rules take effect next week. So remember, this is a follow-up. Mayor Jay Gillian had introduced an ordinance in City Council for Ocean City that would prohibit people from riding their e-bikes on the boardwalk because people were saying they're speeding and ramming into people. But council tabled it, said it was not a good idea. So they're going to let all kinds of bicycles on the boardwalk. And by the way, a beautiful weekend down the shore. And Disney comes to Penn's Landing this summer with Pixar Putt, a Pixar and Disney-inspired interactive mini golf course. I thought Nick Kayal, as a resident golfer,
I turned down a roll in that.
What?
I turned down a roll. Yeah, they gave it to Opelka.
It's an 18-hole course, and it draws from films like Toy Story, The Incredibles, Turning Red, Soul, Ratatouille, Monsters, Inc., and so it's like Pixar Putt, and they're working with local folks and Delaware River Waterfront Corporation to bring the attraction to Philadelphia. So officially July 6th through October 1st. Nick Kayal, you could Do Pixar putt.
I'll be there.
Go golfing with Disney.
I'm going to bring my actual putter from my golf bag. I'm not even going to use the little stock putter that they give you. They're always too short and they're plastic. I'm bringing my good one.
Well, we are sponsored by Discover Lancaster. Head to Lancaster County this weekend with the family to enjoy all the rides at Dutch Wonderland. It's a kingdom for kids, just a 90-minute drive from Philadelphia. Visit discoverlancaster.com to plan your getaway. Discover Lancaster sponsors our Big Three.
All right, Dawn, thank you very much. Coming up at 9:20 this morning, our morning mystery movie clip. All right, so I've got 3 different piles of stories.
Piles.
3 different topics. I think we can get through 2 of the 3. So I've got squad woke material in pile 1. I've got COVID and media stuff in pile 2. And I've got free speech stuff in pile 3. And the squad woke stuff comes with audio as well. I would like to have that be one of the 2. But you guys, dealer's choice. Do you want media and COVID or free speech?
I will let the attractive member of this team
I already spoke. I'm sorry. Yes, you meant Dawn. Yes.
decide.
Door number 1, 2, or 3.
Oh, you could be Vanna.
Yeah. I will say, what was it? Door number 3. I'll go with free speech.
Okay, free speech and squad woke stuff. Let's start with the squad woke stuff, and then we'll get to the free speech stuff. So I love the squad members. They're just pleasant individuals. Squad member Corey Bush saying you are anti-woke means you are anti-black. And I've got some content to really debunk that right out of the gate. Yeah. So she's calling BS.
It really pisses me off.
Randy's mad at me, but they'll all be dealt with accordingly here. Yes, BS. So Democratic Congresswoman Corey Bush, a member of the House Oversight Committee, said this week that being anti-woke is the same as being anti-black. Quote, when you say I'm anti-woke, when you talk about wokeness, you're saying I'm anti-black. And I don't want black people to speak up for themselves. I don't want equality, and I don't want justice for black folks. I say to those who say wokeness, 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 who are anti-woke, that this is not wokeness, what we talked about in here. And you should be on the side of folks who say they are woke because we are saying no more oppression against our community. It is the communities that are being targeted by the GOP, and we have to stand up for us, Bush reiterated. So, okay, let's take her phrase here. Saying you are anti-woke means you are anti-black. Well, what happens when an NBA player who is black says he's not woke? Does that mean black NBA player is anti-black? Here's the tape. Take a listen. This is Jonathan Isaac of the Orlando Magic. Black male, talented player, Christian conservative, who is tired of the NBA and the woke brand and the woke corporation. So what has he done? He has decided to start his own anti-woke corporation. Take a listen.
Unitas is a sports and apparel company, and the basis of it for me is freedom. You have companies that are in that field who have made a conscious decision to either attack or undermine Christian values, conservative values and things like that. And I think that they have the free choice to do so, as much as I disagree. But I feel that we also have a freedom to create what we want to create. The hope is to be able to sign athletes across all different sports and to create a real infrastructure of people who are in the sports world, moms and dads who want to buy their kids sneakers and clothes, but want to give their money to a company that they know is going to work towards bolstering their values. We can be proud of what we believe in. We don't have to hide or be ashamed of it. As the day continues to get, darker and darker and crazier, you standing up for what you believe in is only going to get harder, but is only going to become more and more necessary.
There you go. Jonathan Isaac for the Orlando Magic saying, you know what? You can have your beliefs, and I will have my beliefs. And if you don't like it, you can go pound sand. Corey Bush, your thoughts on Jonathan Isaac?
I call bullshit.
She calls BS. How about that?
It's actually Rashida Tlaib.
Oh, I'm sorry. Rashida Tlaib. Oh, it's Corey Bush that did the anti-woke, anti-black stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
It's a bunch of malarkey.
It's a bunch of malarkey. They don't like it. They don't like it when a black man has Christian conservative values. Oh, no, they do not. I'm sure Booker and Tlaib and everybody else are probably looking at Jonathan Isaac this morning and saying, you know what? Have you been hanging out with Tim Scott? Are you friends with Clarence Thomas? That's not the way you're supposed to think. You're supposed to think the way we tell you to think. Not the case. And then along those lines of being anti-woke means you're anti-black, does that mean Bud Light is anti-black? And if you go against Bud Light, you're anti-black? I'm wondering how that works, because to me, and once again, we're going back down this road of, well, what exactly is woke and what does anti-woke mean? Again, I don't think it really has much to do with black or minority or African American. The whole anti-woke stuff is what we've been talking about on this show for months. Being clubbed over the head repeatedly with ideologies and being told that if you don't believe what we say, then you are what we say you are. Transphobic, racist, homophobic, bigot. It's Target. It's Bud Light. It's the teachers union. It's everything from mainstream media. It's Pride Night in the NHL. It's Pride Month. Nobody's against LGBTQ community members. But when you ask the question, which I think is a valid question, why does the LGBTQ community get an entire month and veterans get 1 or 2 days? I think it's a fair question to ask. And, you know, what we don't want, and when I talk about we, Republicans, conservatives, even you don't even have to be Republican. You could be just a total moderate that values free speech. You don't want all of these institutions becoming political and social. Like, you sell beer, sell beer. You make clothes for kids, just make clothes for kids. We don't need your social stances on everything.
1877 clothes for
can we play the gender song again?
When did we go from, and this is a serious question, when did Pride Month become an entire month?
I don't know.
Like, didn't these things used to be a day, or they're like a parade? You know, you get the parade for Hispanic heritage or whatever, or Puerto Rican Day parade, all that stuff. Like, it used to be a day. Like, when did an entire month become devoted to these things?
Probably when being a straight white male became a crime.
Well, I can tell you, it was June of 1999. U.S. President Bill Clinton declared the anniversary of the Stonewall riots every June in America as Gay and Lesbian Pride Month. And then in 2011, President Barack Obama expanded the officially recognized Pride Month to include the whole of the LGBTQ plus community.
Which reminds me, we need the Biden-Trudeau montage of butchering LGBTQ plus letters. If we can get that for Cut Sheet Part 2, Boys in the Back, that would be great.
But I do remember covering, there were many within the community, there were many who said, let's have Pride Month and parades, let's have them inclusive of families and not too sexualized. And that those were news stories, back, even 10 years ago, to say, don't have guys dressed up in chains and little black leather things,
right?
Because that doesn't really represent who we are as, men and women in the community. And so there were a lot of conversations such as that. And so it's fascinating to me now, after covering, Pride Month for a lot of years, to look at, many in the community who are business people and business owners and so on and so forth, who just wanted to say, hey, we're celebrating something, but don't make it outlandish. And now the pendulum has swung where the trans imagery, which is sort of, is not really representative of most of that community, is now hijacking this whole movement.
I think it really took off, too, in the last 3 or 4 years with this identity politics era that we are living in, where it no longer matters about your merit, your skill, or whatever. It's just how you identify.
Yeah.
The left is so obsessed with what you look like, what you're into. It's the total opposite of progress if you think about it. We were told, we're all created equal. We shouldn't judge each other based on our appearance or our sexual preference or anything like that. But yet the left, who once told you all that, obsesses over it to the point where that's all they care about anymore. And that's all they cater to.
Can I throw you guys a curveball? And maybe I shouldn't do this at this time, but you're mentioning Gay Pride Month. You also mentioned Obama.
Yeah.
Did you guys see the video that Tucker Carlson dropped?
So, yeah, episode 2.
Yes.
Yeah, he insinuated some stuff.
So that's my question for you guys.
Yeah.
Is he insinuating in this clip that Obama's gay?
That's what people are saying on social media. It did perk my ears because I watched it. Do you have the tape?
Yes. So it's just a 19-second clip of his 12-minute monologue.
Yeah.
But the internet is ablaze with, is Tucker insinuating that Obama's gay? Let me just play this for you guys.
By 2008, it was obvious to anybody who was paying attention that Barack Obama had a strange and highly creepy personal life. Yet nobody ever asked him about it. By that point, a leader's behavior within his own marriage, the core relationship of his life, had been declared irrelevant. It was Barack Obama's business, not yours.
Very interesting. And I understand where people are going with that, but I also think it just, and I don't want to make it a general takeaway, but Democrats are into some creepy stuff. I mean, go down the history of...
You can't say just Democrats.
Oh, so I can sit here and say that Obama's gay?
What?
So I can sit here and say Obama's gay?
Well, he didn't say that.
Well, that's what he's insinuating. That's what people are thinking.
That's my insinuation.
My insinuation is I started thinking about the Clintons and the Epsteins and all the perverted stuff that Democrats are constantly involved with. That was my first impression. My second impression was based on after I heard it again and listened and watched what people are saying on social media. But I don't know. Barack Obama doesn't come off as gay to me, but what do I know?
So I just Googled it because I have never heard this.
I've never heard it either.
Before, but so I Googled it, Barack Obama, and then it's Harvard University, Barack Obama, America's first gay president, ? And this is dated.
And I've never heard of that before.
This is October 2009.
Yeah.
This is news to me.
And I couldn't care less if he's gay. Fine by me. Do whatever you want, bro. It's your life. You're an adult.
Well, but so by or on the down low, I don't know what the. I don't know what the.
Well, he said in 2008 there were speculations about his creepy personal life. I didn't know. I mean, I remember the Jeremiah Wright stuff, sitting in churches and all that stuff, but I never heard anything about his sexuality. I find this stuff fascinating, and when somebody of such high prominence drops something like that, I'm just like, huh, interesting.
Yeah, Fox News is probably like, see.
Don't you love it too? All those stories yesterday or 2 days ago that came out. They're like, the Fox News is considering suing, blah blah blah. And Tucker was like, I'm going to drop another.
You know
one.
what? Take this, pal. Because I saved all my money and all my millions you paid me, and if you don't want to pay the rest of my contract, I'll be just fine. You will not silence me. I did not blow my money. By the way, Tucker Carlson's video last night, 35.8 million views. So now here's where I'm going to defend Fox. Tucker, episode 1 on Twitter.
Episode 1.
110 million views.
Okay.
Last night, 36 million.
Well, what's the time frame, though? Because that other one has been up for
a day
2
apart.
days.
Yeah, a day apart. First one was on Tuesday. Second one was on Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think Tucker's going to get 100+ million views on every video.
No, it's just that one was the first one everybody was interested to see it. And yeah, no, I understand that.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's still better than what these networks are getting on TV rating-wise. But, it's always the first one. Like Kayal and Company, you think, oh, they did great in that first one, but they fell off. No, we didn't. Keep growing. Sorry.
Anthony Wolf drummer on YouTube, Obama the long-legged Mac Daddy. I forgot about that. Who is that preacher that used to call him the long-legged Mac Daddy? Oh, so funny.
I forget who that is.
Newman Price, I wouldn't doubt that he's bi. By the way, these are all just rumors. We have no proof of any of this. Don't think anyone cares, but it's not a far-fetched idea.
Yeah.
Right. I don't know. I never heard that before. That's why I wanted to bring it up to you guys.
Obama.
What is that?
Trump.
Oh.
When he said Obama.
Okay.
It's the only Trump-Obama drop I have.
Okay.
So, all right, 9:24.
A little late.
Let's get to the morning mystery movie clip.
And now, the morning mystery movie clip on Kayal and Company. Talk Radio 1210 WPHT.
What? A minivan? Oh, come on, Mac. You're in the slow lane. This is Lightning McQueen you're hauling here.
Just stopping off for a quick breather, kid. Old Mac needs a rest.
Absolutely not. We're driving straight through all night till we get to California. We agreed to it.
All night? May I remind you, federal DOT regs state...
Mac. I need to get there before Chick and hang with Dinah go.
All those sleeping trucks.
Hey, kid, I don't know if I can make it.
Oh, sure you can, Mac. Look, it'll be easy. I'll stay up with you.
All night?
All night long.
Think you know what it is? Be call at 12 at 855-839-1210, and you could win this great prize.
And that great prize again today, a $50 gift card to the Metro Diner. If you can identify that movie clip, call her 12, 855-839-1210, $50 gift card to the Metro Diner. We'll see if we get ourselves a winner. We will find out coming up next. What is on tap for the Dawn Show? Who won Twitter today? And what is on the cut sheet part 2, which could include extraterrestrial life. Yes, stay tuned. Kayal and Company, and we are back after this.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171. 800-873-7171.
For nearly 100 years, folks have trusted Blue Star medicated ointment to relieve the pain and itching of almost any skin irritation.
It works on my son's dry itching feet and their jock itch.
I had this rash on my neck. Nothing worked until Blue Star.
Blue Star worked great on my ringworm without steroids.
My wife and I have been using Blue Star for years. It's never let us down.
Look for the white box with the Blue Star in the first aid section. Feel Blue Star work fast, or your money back.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
At Cherry Hill Volvo, Costco members have a $2,500 incentive on the purchase or lease of an electric Volvo. There is a $1,000 incentive on all gas and hybrid 2023 models. Explore this safe and versatile 2023 XC90 and take advantage of special financing, a rate of under 5%. Visit Cherry Hill Volvo for a full list of extraordinary offers for both new and previously owned Cherry Hill Volvos. Visit us now. We have the inventory and we have competitive offers.
There are over 10,000 reasons why steel is not sold at Lowe's or Home Depot. There are over 10,000 authorized local steel dealers. Find yours at steelusa.com. Lowe's and Home Depot are trademarks of their respective companies.
WPHT, WPHT-HD, WOGL HD3 Philadelphia. From the Cherry Hill Volvo Studios, where relationships matter. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Are you tired of dealing with those old, inefficient windows in your house? Maybe it's time to go Guida. How about that drafty, beat-up-looking entry door you've painted over more times than you can count? Well, go Guida. Need added protection from the elements with a new storm door? Go Guida. And what about that sliding patio door or garage door you've been meaning to replace? Go Guida. Whatever your home improvement needs are, I suggest you go Guida with the great people at Guida Door and Window. To help get your project started, Guida is offering 20% off all windows and doors while allowing you to start your project with no money down and up to 3 full years to pay it off interest-free. That's right. Receive 20% instant savings with the luxury of paying off your project interest-free for up to 36 months. Restrictions apply, offers for a limited time, so what are you waiting for? It's time you finally go Guida. Call today, schedule a free in-home estimate at 1-877-GO-GUIDA or visit them at GoGuida.com. That's go, Guida.com.
Communities are filled with all kinds of people.
You've got your speed walkers, your movie buffs, and can't forget about the this could use more paprika folks. AARP offers events right in our community to help you find your crew. The sooner you join the fun, the more connections you'll make along the way. AARP Philadelphia is hosting free events during June and July, like virtual art and garden tours, bird watching, and more. Register today at aarp.org/local.
First-time homebuyers have a one-stop trusted partner with American Heritage Credit Union. With our first-time homebuyer program, you can earn up to a $500 lender credit. Our realtors can help you shop for your first home, and qualified borrowers can even receive up to $5,000 in first front door grants. To apply with one simple application, visit AmericanHeritageCU.org/FTH. All loans subject to credit approval. Insured by NCUA. Equal Housing Lender. NMLS 433838.
Phillies baseball is in full swing.
It's a 3-run home run for Alec Bohm and a 6 RBI night.
With the free Odyssey app, local fans can listen live all summer long, whether you're at the grill or at the pool.
The ball bobbled. The Phillies win. Bryson Stott has won it.
Phillies baseball. Phillies announcers. Streaming live on the free Odyssey app. AUDACY. Get in the game and download it today.
This is Larry Steinhauser of Investor Schooling. I am so proud to announce the continuing success of our students at Investor Schooling. You already know that at Investor Schooling, we teach real estate investing and stock options. Did you also know that we teach things about tax savings, estate planning, and business coaching as well? We teach things about money I bet you never knew. At Investor Schooling, we teach from the perspective of true experience. If you want to see what our students think about Investor Schooling, please check out the over 160 5-star Google reviews. To find out more about how you can change your financial life, go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829, and you can attend a complimentary class this Thursday at 7 p.m. Attend that class and see for yourself what Investor Schooling is all about. Go to investorschooling.com or call 866-424-2829. That's 866-424-2829. We can't wait to see you this Thursday.
Beach or barbecue. Listen to Talk Radio 1210 WPHT anywhere. Just download the free Odyssey app. AUDACY.
$9:34, Kayal and Company, Friday morning as we continue. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT. What do you got?
Can I say something? So that clip that YouTube player, that YouTube viewer was referencing about Obama being the long-legged Mac Daddy.
Yeah.
It was from a black pastor in Harlem. Do you guys remember the Obama girl? Like it was some very well endowed woman who had an Obama when he was running for president.
Okay.
She had an Obama shirt on.
Okay.
And that's what he's referencing, and this is like a 40-second clip.
Okay.
It's hysterical.
All right, let's hear it.
All right.
Obama is a Mac Daddy. Obama pimps white women and black women. He got started. You didn't notice him till he brought out those big-chested white women with their tight T-shirts and their short pants. That's what a pimp does. Oh, come on. You don't get your campaign started with a big-chested white woman. She must be a 54D, double D. And a pair of shorts on. That's what started his campaign. He put his name on 2 big 54Ds. Obama! That's where you first saw his name. That's first place I saw it on 2 great big old
Obama.
How does that sound?
54D, how's that sound?
Obama!
Randy, your thoughts?
Really pisses me off.
I agree. It does me too. Is it BS, Miss Talib? Yes, it is. It's BS.
I love that. 54D. Jeez. Double D.
Miss Talib, what do you think about Obama bringing out a white chick with 54 Ds? I do too. That'll trigger the squad. All right, let's get Jeannie in Aston in here, who I believe is our morning mystery movie clip winner. Jeannie.
Obama!
No, not Obama. Jeannie. Jeannie, what was the movie clip we played for you this morning?
Good morning. It's Cars.
That is correct.
Yeah.
And if you have a car, you'll be on your way to Metro Diner with your $50 gift card. How's that sound?
See what you did there.
Sweet.
Come on. There she is, Jeannie and Aston. Thank you very much for listening, and we appreciate you playing. This last 20 minutes is going to be amazing.
Sorry.
I already can tell. I already know where the stalker's at right now. Stalker just wants to play around with buttons all day.
I
now.
do.
He does.
So is Dylan at the age where you know that movie by heart? Because I know that movie by heart.
Oh, we're gonna have a Cars themed birthday party in about 2 weeks.
Wow.
So it's his favorite show.
Yeah, you stick the car in the garage and you put some classified documents behind it, and Dylan's Joe all of a sudden.
Good chow.
Oh, boy. All right, a couple of things to get to. We've got What's on Tap for the Dawn Show. That'll be coming up in about 15 minutes. Who won Twitter today? But let's get right down to it because we've got some good gems in the hopper for round two.
Oh,
no, we do not.
Do a
Kill some time, Nick.
Yes.
Filibuster. We do not
Please.
have it ready yet.
Please.
You know, I never did give that the free speech story. You know, this because I know you guys picked that when we were doing Dealer's Choice. So it's a quick one, but it just goes to show you how academia doesn't really welcome diverse thought anymore. And you're not allowed to get involved in debates. We gave you the big take earlier this week on the high school debate team being silenced for, not being able to bring in capitalism to their argument or Donald Trump. But according to thecollegefix.com, 76% of Princeton students say it's acceptable to shut down a speaker.
Are you kidding?
Yeah, I mean, you got to love the Ivy League, right? And as if there was not like 32 reasons to dislike people that go to Yale and Princeton and Harvard and all this other nonsense. But the findings come despite a free speech-focused freshman orientation session, a university guarantee of, quote, the broadest possible latitude to speak, and administrators who act as, quote, free expression facilitators. That being said, a little over 3/4 of Princeton University students that were polled in a recent survey said it's sometimes acceptable to shut down a speaker.
Wow.
Well, didn't we give you the story a couple of months ago where we had this Stanford law professor that was basically sabotaged by the law students?
Yep.
Yes.
I remember one of the things my dad told me, he's like, you're going to learn all you need to know in high school for the basics, but when you go to college, you're going to expand your mind, and you're going to be in front of people with different views, and you don't have to agree with every. And my dad really wasn't political, but he's like, you're going to hear all different sorts of trains of thought, and that's how you evolve and expand your mind. And now here we are in 2023, and I don't know what Princeton costs per year, but I'm guessing it's probably close to $100,000 or $80,000 or whatever it might be. It's expensive, and you need to be really smart to get into Princeton. And 3 out of every 4 students say, you know what? Depending on the situation, yeah, it's okay to shut down somebody who's speaking.
$56,000 a year.
Oh God!
But it would be $100,000 if you're living there.
$100,000 a year.
Yeah.
For tuition, room, and board.
Yep.
Okay.
100. So you were exactly right.
Yeah. Times that by 4, you're half $500,000.
So I would say this: at least they're not saying that it's okay to physically assault the speaker, like as happened to Riley Gaines.
Yes. Which she'll be coming up with you on Monday, correct?
Yeah.
There you go. The group conducted a survey of Princeton undergrad students and report that amongst other results, 18% of students reported being very familiar with Princeton's free speech rule. 48% support banning offensive speech. Other key survey findings include that 43% believe it may be acceptable to block others from attending a speech, and 16% believe violently stopping a speech could be justified. That's really probably where I think most logical, common sense adults draw the line. You can debate, you protest, you can do all that, but there should not be violence. And okay, I got you there, but 43% say it may be acceptable to block others from attending. Well, we're gonna build a wall in Princeton, New Jersey.
You put this together with the, okay with cameras inside houses to keep people safe. I fear for where we're going.
I'll be long gone by then, God willing.
I do.
But yeah. People 100 years from now.
Yep.
Have a blast. God bless America. All right, let's get to what is on the cut sheet, part 2.
What's on the cut
Sheet!
Part 2. What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2 is sponsored by Holland Floor Covering. Holland Floor Covering is the region's premier flooring dealer, family operated for over 50 years, providing exceptional service and professional installation. Visit their 2 showrooms in Wayne and Newtown. No charge samples, no obligation estimates. Learn more at hollandfloor.com. That's Holland, Holland, floor, FLOOR.com, hollandfloor.com. Thank you for sponsoring What's on the Cut Sheet Part 2 on the ever-important Friday edition. So this just came across my desk. Boys in the back, you don't have it. It's okay. You just hear the audio. Rachel Maddow was on with Lawrence O'Donnell last night on MSNBC, saying the quiet part out loud. Rachel questions whether Trump indictment could end in an exchange for Trump dropping out of the presidential race.
But you have to wonder if the Justice Department is considering whether there is some political solution to this criminal problem, whether part of the issue here is not just that Trump has committed crimes, but that Trump has committed crimes and plans on being back in the White House. Do they consider, as part of a potential plea offer, something that would proscribe him from running for office again? I don't know.
Wow.
Is she implying that they're basically saying, look, we're going to go with these charges and you can go to jail, or we'll drop the charges and you be a free man?
She's admitting that she knows it's political. She's a smart lady.
Yes.
And that right there is an admission from a major progressive liberal Democrat. This is 100% political. That's what that says.
But how smart is she to even think that Donald Trump would take a plea? That word plea doesn't come into Trump's vocabulary.
No, because he would hold a news conference. I mean, we found out about this because of him on True Social. He would hold a news conference, and they just offered me a deal to not run for president. That's what this was all about.
Yeah.
So they're not going to do that.
Yeah. That would be the biggest mistake they would ever make.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Like that would just, we all know it's political, but that would just solidify the fact that it's political.
Yeah. And not the rule of law, which they only selectively adhere to.
But, to go out on TV, I don't know. Stephen A. Smith was also on with Chris Cuomo last night, basically saying that they can't beat Trump legitimately.
Biden wasn't that popular of a candidate, at least before the primaries in South Carolina. Up until that point, he wasn't even in the game as far as a lot of people were concerned. And so because of that, when you look at it from that perspective, Chris, what it comes down to is you're going to have people sitting up there on his side and saying they can't beat him legitimately, and it's going to add it's going to add momentum to his argument that they're exhausting themselves with doing everything they can to prevent him from being the Republican nominee because they can't beat him.
Yeah.
That's what they're going to say.
Well,
no
that's
matter
his
what
case.
I mean, it's a strong argument. Let's face it, 62 million votes in 2016. He picked up an additional 12 million in 2020. 74 million votes, most ever for a current sitting president running for re-election. There's a lot of people that believe that. I mean, without the hoaxes, the impeachment 1, impeachment 2, social media, the court systems, he's different. He's done it differently than anybody else, and he's also been dealing with far more obstacles than anybody has ever had to deal with. So Stephen A. is not wrong there.
All right, let's end on a Friday cut sheet with something that I really care about, UFOs.
Hell yes.
So police body cams have recorded a UFO allegedly crash landing in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Now, this isn't some wild conspiracy theory. This news package was from 8 News Now, the CBS affiliate in Las Vegas. The residents called the police saying a couple of non-human 8 to 10 foot beings with big eyes in their backyard. Black SUVs reported in the area that possibly took the aircraft away, and all video of the backyard has been blacked out. So this is the news report on this. And by the way, one of the police if you're watching right now on YouTube, you can see the video where there's like a flash of light and it falls out of the sky. It comes right on the police body cam, and the cop even says, look, I wouldn't believe you if I didn't see it for myself on the dash cam.
The cop that shows up at the house is the cop that saw what captured on the body cam.
It is a wild video, and basically all of them are saying this same thing. It's a wild video.
It's almost midnight on May 1st when a Las Vegas Metro police officer's body cam catches this, something flashing low in the sky.
911 emergency.
Minutes later,
there's like an 8-foot person beside it, and another one's inside, and it has big eyes and looking at us.
See, so if you pause it right there, you can see like it's for the people listening on the radio, you can see it's like a blast of light or like lightning, and it falls out of the sky.
Looks like a spy balloon.
Ah, I see where you're
Joe shot down another one.
Yeah.
And it's still there.
Someone calls 911 reporting 2 large figures in their backyard.
No, I'm still nervous right now.
The 8 News Now investigators obtaining another officer's video as he's sent to the Northwest Valley home.
I have butterflies, bro. I've only saw a shooting star, then these people say there's aliens in their backyard.
By now, it's more than an hour after that bright light. Officers meeting up with the caller and his family.
What'd you see?
It was like a big creature.
A big creature?
Yeah, like around 10 feet tall.
I'm not going to BS you guys. One of my partners said they saw something fall out of the sky too, so that's why I'm kind of curious. Did you see anything land in your backyard, or?
They see like a big, that's what they say. They see like a big something with light.
What I saw right now, I do believe in it.
Police walk into the backyard to investigate, but Metro blacked out that part of the video because it's considered private property. What's clear, they're taking this call seriously.
Hey, this might sound like a really dumb question, but did you guys see anything fall out of the sky?
Asking others what they saw.
I would normally discount it as nothing. However, seeing as one of my partners said they saw it too, only reason I'm actually investigating it further.
That investigation turning up no concrete answers as of Wednesday. Whatever or whoever fell into that yard, long gone within minutes.
Oh, hey. If those 9-foot beings come back, don't call us, all right? Deal with it yourself. I ain't dealing with that.
We've already been defunded enough.
So yeah, this is quite weird, Brian was saying as we're watching this story. Now, we've been in contact with the family in that video, and as you heard in that 911 call, they seem very reasonable and honestly quite scared as you heard them in the call. No, they don't seem impaired in any way, and whatever crashed by the time that police
They're
got
not hired drunk.
They were not smoking crack with Hunter.
I don't know, guys. So
the object falls out of the sky. They don't hear a crash. No. There's no wreckage. No. There's no evidence. And the 2 8, 9, or 10 footers that were standing in the backyard with big eyes.
Yep.
Just they ran out into the cornfields. They just took off.
We had this debate on whether we think aliens exist.
Yeah.
I think this proves my point, Nick Kayal. Thank you.
Bender, screws fall out all the time. The world's an imperfect place. The next screw that falls out of the sky is going to be you.
Well, how do you describe this? Or how do you explain this then, Nick Kayal?
I have no explanation.
Okay.
I just don't.
Dawn, is this proof that aliens exist?
It's proof.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Tell you what.
Yeah.
That cop. I'm only asking because my partner saw it too. I'm not BSing you. Jesus. You want a theory? Here's my theory.
Okay.
Here's my theory. Too many people are suspicious about the fires in Canada, so they threw a distraction at us. How about that?
All right.
We'll wrap up the Friday with a soundbite theory.
We should break before
Let's do that. 9:49. We'll be back. We've got to find out what is on tap for the Dawn Show and who won Twitter today.
Hi, this is Dom Giordano. Do you want a beautiful home that's easy to maintain? I've been telling you about a great company that does just that. John Gilgee is here to tell you in his own words. Take it away, my friend.
Hello, it's John from Rhino Shield, reminding you that spring is here and Rhino Shield is ready to help you paint your home for the last time. Our permanent exterior house paint is not ordinary paint. It's a ceramic house coating that goes on like paint and looks like paint, but is guaranteed for 25 years. If your home's exterior isn't looking as good as you'd like, Rhino Shield is the solution you've been looking for. It's affordable because you only have to paint one last time, and it protects your home with a durable and waterproof coating that goes on any exterior surface. Find out why so many of your neighbors are choosing the permanent paint solution from Rhino Shield by calling to schedule your free estimate today at 844-RHINO-99. That's 844-744-6699.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal.
The sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Hey, you've heard me talk a lot about Chapman Windows, Doors, and Siding. They do great work, and they've certainly made my home more beautiful and energy efficient. They can always customize, too. Take a virtual tour, ChapmanWindowsDoors.com, and see, for example, the Nano Wall product, gorgeous wall of glass doors and windows, how it can transform your home. They also offer architecture shutters designed to last a lifetime, those premium architecture shutters. They do it all, doors, windows. They do premium siding as well as stucco remediation. Whatever it is, whatever you need for your home, the Chapman family team offers meticulous work, such outstanding service, high-quality products installed by high-quality people. Just, call them or text them. They're listening right now, loyal listeners and supporters of us here, 610-431-8898, ChapmanWindowsDoors.com. Tell them Dawn sent you.
Dawn Stensland weekdays 10 till noon. Dom's here down on noon till 3. Free speech lives here. Talk Radio 1210, WPHT, and on the free Odyssey app.
Kayal Company, 9:52, Friday morning, 8 minutes out from the Dawn Show.
Do you notice, Dawn? He's already standing up. He has his bag packed. He is ready to go. He is ready to get out. Look at this.
I'm going to do the final 2 minutes like Rich Zioli would. Just stand here.
This is unbelievable.
Are you golfing? What are you headed at? What are you doing?
I'm all trumped out. I'm going home taking a nap.
I don't believe you. You've got something going on.
He does.
Are you golfing? What are you doing?
I'm golfing, yeah. A little golf.
Which is good.
I'll be stuck in traffic, and I'll get to hear 3 great guests between 10 and noon. That's correct, right?
That's right. Well, we have Todd Shepard coming up, and right at 10 o'clock in the morning, Broad and Liberty talks about, among other things, the increased campaign financing, transparency falter that's happening in Pennsylvania. So we'll talk about Pennsylvania politics and the GOP. And then Andy Bloom, Broad and Liberty.
Wow.
Who
old boss here.
Yeah, was one of the bosses here and great conservative mind and writer as well. He's coming up at 10:30 talking about the First Amendment rights are more equal than others. So we'll talk about unequal justice for all in First Amendment issues.
Okay, sounds good. I believe, didn't Andy back in the day work with Stern?
Yes.
Yeah.
I thought that was right.
He'll tell anybody that'll listen that he was. He
That's what I thought.
I have a soft spot in my heart for Andy. Andy hired Dawn here. He was, he was
long time Philadelphian here and Odyssey member. So
a lot of the stuff he's writing now for Broad and Liberty is great.
And he was also in D.C. for a while as well, correct?
D.C., Minneapolis, he's been all over.
It's an interesting career between going from Stern and that level of media to like the political side and then to radio, consulting and operations.
He's done.
Pretty
done
interesting.
A lot.
Yeah. No, the resume.
What time's he coming up? 10:30.
10:30.
Okay.
All right. 9:54. Let's wrap it up with Who Won Twitter today.
Who won Twitter?
Ford 350 wins Twitter today. He says Republicans and independents and some Democrats will rally and vote for Trump because they will realize the third world tactics of Biden and the DOJ. People are waking up. So according to Ford 350. He thinks that this is going to be a rallying cry for the nation.
Well, he also probably thinks I drive a minivan because he's Ford F-350 and I'm driving the Honda Ridgeline and the minivan apparently.
Before we get out of here for the weekend, do you agree with what he said, Nick Kayal?
No, I do not. I actually Ornery Hounds tweeted me earlier today saying that he agrees with me, and I hope to be wrong. But I said something to the effect in a tweet to him that, much like a bill from the House that goes to the Democrats with the Senate and the White House, it's DOA. Dead on arrival.
Dawn, do you agree with Ford 350?
Yes.
Okay.
I would love to be wrong.
Yeah.
Love to be wrong.
Okay. I think it depends on the campaign and getting it together and focusing on the correct message. Yeah. Not culture wars, not words like woke and all that. Just focus on the real issues that Americans care about.
Florida is where woke goes to die.
That gets to be old real quick.
I agree.
Stop with the culture wars. Stop with the slick slogans. Talk about what Americans care about. That's right.
It's BS.
Just like the bus drivers. That's just like she says.
I can freaking smell it.
We got that bus driver as well.
Come on!
Yeah, man.
Obama!
Stop.
54D.
How does that sound?
Oh, boy.
Exactly. All right, that'll do it for us. Dawn is coming up next.
Thank
Stay tuned
God.
for that show. And you guys have a great rest of your weekend. Enjoy the outdoor fresh air as it returns. And we will return Monday morning at 6 o'clock.